Work session for Hillsboro School District 1 day. Jay is now in order. First, agenda item is the Curriculum Advisory Committee, and Brooke has some information for you.
I'm right here.
Oh.
Hi.
Share with us.
Good evening, everyone. If you want to do up those slides, that would be great. We're going to do just a quick overview of CCAC and some applicant data, and then we're going to get right into some statements from our applicants. Wow. Oh, let's turn on the clicker here. Here we go. Okay, so at the board retreat, just a reminder that we took the information that used to be in two policies and combined it into one, but just a reminder that the CCAC is to ensure that what the board recommends for the CCAC to be reviewing, that they carry forward the assignment and also make recommendations back to the board. In our recruitment goals, a priority of our school board and our district is diverse representation within our committees. Tonight, we're looking at selecting 6 students and then selecting up to 7 community members, which will result in 20 total members. How we did recruitment this year was advertising through HSD social media. Thank you, Beth and her team. Student meet and greet, family engagement groups, and our educational liaisons helped with recruitment as well, specifically with our students too. I wanted to also share with that priority of our board and our district, our current demographic will have 7 members returning to us. So currently 6 of those members identify as white, 1 identifies as Black African American. These are the names that are before you tonight. Once again, we're going to hear from also the majority of this list of applicants as well. And then also, so our community members that you will be hearing from. Just wanted to share their demographics. 1 identifies as Black African American, 6 as white, 3 as Hispanic Latinx, 1 as Asian, and then we also had 2 applicants that did not specify. Our students, we had 10 students apply. Great. So I just want to once again share the names of the students, and then here are their demographics as well. 4 identify as white, 5 identify as Latinx, Hispanic, and then 1 identifies as Asian. So tonight, once again, we're going to hear from the majority of our community applicants. Then you'll have a moment to vote. We'll collect those votes and tally those up. Downstairs, then you'll make your recommendation of appointments. We will notify the applicants and then also share with applicants who were not selected. And then we'll get going this coming Monday, October 2nd at 7 p.m. in person. Okay, so with that.
Are we doing like Google form, pass around paper? What are we doing? Like,
there's a Google form attached in your board file. And then Rose also brought paper applications or paper votes as well, just in case you need those. So we're here to support.
Appointments and kids.
Yep, we're here to support whatever way you'd like to vote this evening. For those though online, you'll have to reference the Google form. Great question. Okay. Yeah.
You want, like, we had our agenda planning meeting, we talked about, do you want to just cover the students first? No students are here to present, right?
No students are presenting.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if we want to first hear from the community members and their statements, and then we can go into that. Okay. So the first person that we have on the Zoom screen, I see his face. Khalid, can you hear me?
Sure.
Hello. So each person's going to have a minute or less. So we will be timing each person's statement to ensure that we're meeting that less than 1 minute mark. So when we are ready to hear from Khalid, please proceed.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sounds good. My name is Khalid Abghazala. I am interested in applying to the Community Curriculum Advisory Committee. I've been living in Hillsboro for a little over 10 years. I have 2 kids in school. One of them is in elementary. My background, my background experiences are kind of mixed and diverse. I lived in a different part of the world less than half of my life. I have a different angle and exposure to topics and things. I try to keep up with what happens with my kids in school. I'm also a volunteer in my kids' school, so I'm interested in doing more. I have the capacity and I have time to dedicate and do my part as a community member. The application has some of my statements. I don't feel the need to repeat it unless you have specific questions on that. You've asked about my educational philosophy. Again, as a parent, as somebody who's gone through life and experienced different things, I think diversity and character is a big part of. Am I out of time?
You're out of time, but thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself this evening. We really do appreciate it.
Thank
Heather,
you.
are you, oh, thank you. Heather, are you on the screen with us this evening? I see you. Can you, okay, hello. So we'll set the timer for you as well when you're ready.
Hi, my name is Heather Brown, and my connection with the Hillsboro School District is I've had a daughter who has gone through K through 12. She's now down at Oregon State University, and I have a daughter that's just starting high school, so that's exciting. And we've lived in Hillsboro for about 20 years, business owners and stuff, and just really involved, really involved with the like band program at Glencoe and stuff. We volunteer, my husband and I, with softball and various things. But as far as community curriculum advisory committee, I've just been looking for another board to be on, and I'm always very involved in my kids' education. I like to know kind of like what's going on. I think that I have some good input. My background is in psychology. So, and I've worked with at-risk youth for many years. So just kind of having that, I guess, different perspective with really different, or am I all done?
Yeah. So much so for your statement and your time as well. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. We are next going to hear from our two in-person applicants. Phil, would you, just come over. Here we go. Come on up and share a little bit about yourself. Again, we'll have a minute. We'll time you.
You can sit down.
Thank you. Whatever feels good.
Just remember to project for the people online.
Okay, thank you. My name is Phil Rogers. I've lived in Hillsboro for the last little more than 20 years. Have two kids. The eldest is in high school, second in middle school. I've seen how much they benefited from school programs, and it's something where, you know, I'm kind of looking for ways that maybe I can give back a little bit. And a number of months ago when I met Patrick, he discussed some of the ways that he got involved through the curriculum committee, and it sounded interesting to me, frankly.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect time. So good. Natalie, you'll read that for you. Come on, neighbor. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm honored to be here. My name is Natalie Larson. I have two kids currently enrolled at Patterson Elementary, which we love, and I volunteer there also. And then I have one preschooler. I'm currently a stay-at-home mom, but I'm passionate about prioritizing the next generation. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for doing just that for our city. I really appreciate you all. And thank you for considering my application.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have 5 to read, so Rose is going to help make sure that my timing is also under the 1 minute count.
I see that you didn't mention online.
Annie had one because she's the leader.
Annie, wait. Annie, thank you so much for.
First reading, that's why we did.
Oh. Oh, okay.
That's good. Annie, if she's with us on Zoom, let's have her read her or share her statement first, and I'll go into the readings.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah. You can hear me okay?
Yeah.
So, hi, I am the mom of a high school junior and a college sophomore. And y'all have done a really nice job of helping us raise them. So thank you very much, our Hillsboro friends. I am an educator myself. I currently work at the Northwest Regional ESD, where I co-lead the 9th grade Success Network. And I'm a champion of public education. So I bring, I think, the lens that I tried to bring to the CCAC and that I would continue to bring is this idea of maybe thoughtful implementation of curriculum, not just the curriculum itself, but the planning for what we're doing with it and being a voice for that. But I also just fundamentally believe that students, I mean, we know this, students learn when they feel cared for and connected in their schools. Schools need to be a welcoming, inclusive place. And so I think that that's a lens that I bring. I know that this isn't part of your demographic breakdown, but I am the parent of a gender nonconforming kid. And I think that that's a really great lens to bring to this as well. So those are things that I think I can add as a voice to the CCAC, is just always kind of looking for how is what we're doing helping students see themselves at school and feel like that's a place where they belong.
So much. We're at time. Thank you. Thank you so much for your
I'm
statement.
so quiet.
I know. The owl, I'll try to project a little bit more. Okay, we're ready for our 5 readings. Got it, Rose? Okay. The first one that I am reading tonight is from Linda Osuna. Good afternoon, Board Chair Watson, fellow school board members, Superintendent Ryman, and Assistant Superintendent Nova. My name is Linda Osuna, and I have submitted my application for appointment to the Curriculum Committee Linda wrote Curriculum Committee Advisory Committee. My interest in becoming a member of the CCAC is based on my passion and commitment to the student and families of HSD and the Hillsboro community. As a committee member, I feel it's a responsibility to think about how our students are supported in the curriculum development and to demonstrate our commitment to them as educators, continue to lend their creativity and expertise to make certain that the curriculum best supports the educational outcomes of each student. In addition, having been a part of the committee for the last 5+ years, it's an honor to have met with numerous HSD educators along with dedicated support staff who are diligent in their work to ensure that our students are better prepared and able to navigate their own learning experience. I would welcome the opportunity to continue the work with these individuals on behalf of our community. And with your support, I'd be honored to be selected to serve another term. Woo! Okay, next one here we have from Joe Everton. Are we ready? Okay. Dear School Board, as I have served on the CCAC, I have noticed that everybody brings expertise and background and their personal interests and passions to the table. Diversity in these areas helps the committee inform the board's curriculum decisions better. I will bring my STEM background and my passion for getting all students engaged in STEM, especially the hard sciences that help launch careers in high-paying jobs. We need choices to support all students, but when considering new curricula, we need to make sure we're preparing students for rigorous STEM coursework in the high school grades and beyond. I have a proven record of preparing my own students for this rigor. I'm eager to continue providing this perspective. Naturally, I usually have something to contribute on other subjects too. I will continue to attend as many of the optional pilots and curriculum viewing sessions as possible, like I did last term. Last term and through COVID, that was a challenge for the committee, but I feel it's important that my vote is informed by the curriculum itself. Best regards, Joe Everton. Okay, just a quick order here for our third one. Okay, Joseph Dilworth is our next statement. Hello, my name is Joseph Dilworth. My oldest son just graduated from Liberty High School this past June, and my youngest son is currently attending J.W. Pointer Middle School. Our family chose the Hillsboro School District because of its core values of a progressive, diverse, and all-inclusive curriculum for all students, and for the teachers committed to those values. In recent years, there have been many attempts to change that for political reasons, and I would like to be a voice for why that shouldn't happen. Thank you for your consideration. Let me know if that works and if there's any questions that you have for me. Okay, fourth one, here we go. This is from applicant Tia Rose. Hello, my name is Tia Rose, and I have been a Hillsboro resident for 3 years. The reason I would like to be considered for the CCAC is because I am committed to ensuring equitable and impartial access to education for all children, promoting a comprehensive understanding of diverse subjects, including mathematics, science, history, and art. By nurturing our youth's knowledge and fostering their global perspective, we aim to empower them to contribute positively to the betterment of Oregon and the entire world. Thank you, Tia. Finally, we have a statement from Lily Verduzco. My name is Lily Verduzco, and I am originally from Michoacan, Mexico. I know little English, and my connection to the district is I have 2 children who have been or are currently studying in this district. I have 1 student at South Mills in 8th grade, and my first child graduated from Hill High last June. I participate in the Hill High PAC group and have some matters that I would love to support, share, and propose regarding the subjects taught in the district because they impact not only my students, but the entire student community of the district. And I want to know why and how decisions are made regarding the subjects to be taught. Thank you very much. Okay, so those are our 5 statements. You've heard from our Zoom statements and our 2 in person. There are 2 members tonight that did not submit a statement, and that is Shira Longstrand and Michael Smith. So I just want to make note of that as well.
But they're currently serving and have reapplied to continue to serve.
Yes, they served 2 years on their last term, and they have reapplied. The student area, are there any questions that we want to go over on the community applicants before we transition?
Maybe we just finish this up before we move on to the students?
Okay, that sounds good.
What do you think? How do you feel about that? Yeah, yeah, okay. So just to be clear, we have 7 spots
Yep.
available.
Yes,
We have, we had all the names up there, and Pepper's name was still there, but she had decided to put her application on hold.
thank you so much. Yes, Deborah informed us yesterday about 1 o'clock that she wanted to remove her name at this time because there's a family matter that we need to support.
So we have 12 applicants for 7 positions.
Yeah.
And of those 12, 5 are currently serving on the CCAC, is that about right?
Mhm.
Okay. So we want, is everybody doing okay about finishing with the community members and then moving to students? Okay, next list, yeah.
Comment with it.
Sure.
Absolutely. So I was reading over all the applicants and was really impressed by all of them, the backgrounds they bring. There were people who I learned a lot from. I served on the committee as well as new folks. And I thought it would be a shame to not have those people who have had that institutional knowledge for many years, but also a shame not to have these really incredible new folks. So I was looking at the policies, and as far as I can tell, the number of members is not actually defined in the policy, but in our packet, it says that some years ago, it was determined, the board at that time agreed that the number would be 14 as a baseline, but if more candidates apply, the board would have the discretion to adjust the number of members. So I was thinking it might be worth considering appointing all the applicants. It would give 5 more people than normal on the committee, but I don't know that would be manageable and it would benefit from all the perspectives. So I wanted to throw that up to see that other board members felt about that, because a lot of our committees have statutorily defined membership. This is just their job is to assist us in making good decisions. And so we felt like all of these folks were qualified. We're talking about.
Do you have any context you want to add on the idea of how many people are manageable, and frankly,
Yeah.
Travis is not
I know.
here, and he
Yeah.
was the sort of secretary of that committee for so long. So if either of you have anything to add about.
Superintendent Ryman does have more context. So one thing that I would just share is I think the number of applicants will ebb and flow over time. And so kind of, I think of a number that we would like to hold as close to is important, because I just think over time we are going to have maybe larger surges at times and smaller ones. And so I would just be cautious of that when considering the number of applicants. That's what I would say. Coming in new to it and just seeing, I think the surge of applicants at sometimes, and then sometimes not as many.
I think the history was that originally when the committee was formed by the Hillsboro School Board, each school board member could appoint 2 members of the committee to serve basically as proxy members for themselves. And there was then a desire to have more diversity, that's more representative of the community, because at the time our board was not very diverse. And so that became the ability for the board to appoint 7 members per year with rolling 2-year terms. And so today the number remains 14 because that's twice as many board members, twice as many as there are 7 board members. That the original design was to have a committee of 14. We, along the line, added students to add student voice. I guess my only concern would be kind of what Brooke said, if there were 30 and then 20 students, would we have a group of 50? If we wanted all those voices to be heard. And then sometimes we do set somewhat arbitrary numbers of seats so that we can have a manageable and predictable number of committee members. In this case, it's 15.
Anybody else? Comments? Really the last 3 years? Oh. How many, this is how, including students?
No.
This is, we had 27 at one point?
Yeah. I don't even remember that. One year we had an incredible number of that.
Yeah, which, I mean, we've been very fortunate lately to have.
Yeah, I mean,
Just so many people who are incredibly qualified. And then 10 and 13, yeah. How was 27 the man?
To be honest, I don't recall our committee that was 27.
So is that the number of applicants?
That's the number of
number of
applicants.
applicants,
Oh.
that's
Yeah,
applicants for 7 positions.
yeah.
Oh, I guess, this is not
Yeah.
how big the committee was there. This is-
No, so.
But it's not just our members.
That sounded weird, all right.
Applicants for 7 positions.
27 applicants for 7 positions. At one point. Okay.
It is the prerogative of the board to form this committee how you see fit. I would say that we prepared tonight to have there be 14 adult members, and then I believe we arrived at 6 student members.
Yeah.
And so you could decide to take action to reform the committee in a different configuration. I'm just not sure that's the way that we've designed the vote to happen tonight in
Yeah.
our Google form. And so
True.
we might need to make some decisions here to take into consideration a proposed change. Because it's a structural change that I hear Patrick proposing.
Yeah, I guess I think in past years, there have been times where people had to drop off, so the number of people halfway through the year has been pretty low. And so I'm thinking, taking like year by year basis, looking this year, are all the applicants being so qualified? Do I think it would be a benefit just to point all of them? I do, but the majority of the board doesn't agree with that, then we'll just proceed what we were planning to do previously. But if the majority of the board thinks there's some sense to that, then we can still do point all of them. So I thought worth staying the other board members.
We have had like amazing efforts. So we had 27, I don't remember all 27, but yeah, I know the 10 and 13%, but they were all, yeah, that was, so we've been very looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to Patrick's point about people dropping off maybe during the year, maybe a consideration might be for, I'm a fan of the 14, having that and not making the group too large, too unwieldy, too unmanageable. But having an alternate list so that if someone does drop off, you have someone to fill that position. You at least contact them again and say, are you still interested in fill that?
Well, we've had mid-year vacancies in the past. Have we filled that position or we just let it be vacant for the remainder of the year? We usually fill them at the end. Yeah. Because I remember when you can fill vacant positions, but it was always like right around this time of year, not, yeah, in March. Okay.
That's my memory too.
Anybody else have thoughts on expanding the committee?
I want to make sure that on the record, we're communicating to the community that this is a good problem.
Yeah.
we are blessed. We have people who want to support and make change and support our children. That's a really good problem to have. I don't think I want to see this committee get any bigger than 20 individuals. That's a very, very large committee. 14 adults and 6 kids, 5 kids, young people. Awesome young people. I think it's sufficient. I really like the idea of having an alternative, an alternate slate, because life does happen. It just occurred to me. I know what that's like. So I would love to have an alternate list of however many people apply. We still got to vote on the total numbers, the total numbers that are available. I would like to see us make sure that we identify those individuals who are currently serving. And if those who are currently serving wish to continue, that just makes sense, unless there is something compelling to make me think of it.
Ian, any thoughts you want to share before I weigh in, before I say anything?
Yeah. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I agree with what Monique and Nancy have shared in terms of not increasing the number of voting members on the committee, but even with the alternative list that has been that idea of having alternates, maybe having non-voting members and having a certain number of non-voting members who are still engaged in the dialogue around the curriculum, but not being the voting members. And so maybe having a distinction between voting members and non-voting members, especially if we are going to use kind of an alternate list as an example. But I agree in terms of not expanding upon if we already set amount that we have, because it is a pretty large committee as it is. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I'm reluctant to set, make the room unmanageable for you. 20 seems like a lot, but a good number. 20's been working. I do see your point that there'll be so many qualified, but it's a problem we've had for a while. So many qualified applicants. I'm struggling with so many great new applicants, but if somebody wants to continue and they haven't done anything to disqualify themselves, then I feel like, which means we're really looking at 5 people for 2 spots. Is that right? Is that math right? No.
7.
Yeah, so but if we keep 5 or keep 5 people that want to continue. Yeah. Oh, so then we have 7 people for 2 spots. Oh my god. If you use that. Yeah, we keep 14 cap. That's what I did.
And just a reminder, though, however, we really do have 7 open spots.
Right. We don't have to vote for somebody to
with 12
continue.
applicants. So just as a reminder, that's currently what is presented. But I do hear everyone saying that we would keep the 5 that maybe are not voted upon this evening in our alternate list, and we can definitely also, by the number of votes, we could rank them that way too.
Sure.
So that next one would be our number 1 alternate that we would call to say, hey, a spot is opened up, and we could discuss that at a work session later this year.
Right.
If that's something that comes up.
Yeah, I do like the idea of more mid-year replacements or mid-year appointments. I do like that idea, especially unless an applicant who's not chosen situation has changed or something.
Right.
Right. But I feel if someone has to drop out, I kind of like the idea of not waiting until the fall to replace them. Just go ahead and, especially when we have so many great applicants. Okay. She has her hand up. She has her hand up. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Jen?
Yeah, one other question, kind of off topic, but still somewhat related. Do we have a kind of an attendance record in terms of on any given CCAC meeting, the number of folks that actually show up? Because I know, even after being appointed, things can change in terms of availability and things like that. And I want to, just a question of, I know we keep track of attendance in terms of how many members are showing up. But are there any requirements as to, you know, in any given year, you have to attend X amount of meetings, or you're only allowed, you know, a certain number of, I guess, absences before, and I don't know if there's a consequence. Yeah,
Yes.
if you could share about that.
Yeah, Sheehan, this is Travis. We have taken attendance every meeting.
Yeah.
The norm that we set for the group was that we expected folks to notify if they're going to be absent, and after 2 unexcused absences, that would be the email of you can't be a part of the team anymore.
Okay.
And has that happened?
Yeah, but usually it happens with I'm dealing with personal stuff and I can't serve anyway. So it's usually a parting of ways amicably. But we do set an expectation that you have to excuse yourself if you're not going to be able to serve, and if you don't, 2 meetings is the mechanism.
Okay.
And of the 20 we had last year, roughly how many people were at the meeting in general?
I couldn't say.
Okay.
We don't have average attendance data. We'd have to go back and look at the agenda.
Yeah.
How many folks have in the past, let's say year or two, have had to send that email to and have had to part ways with after they've been appointed?
Couldn't say. I'd have to go back and look at the roster.
Okay. Okay.
But clearly, if the people who are reapplying are still serving, they haven't had this issue come up.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure, all the people whose name are on that list are in good standing and been regular attenders.
Nancy, you have something you want to add?
I think I'm at the point where I want to say, yes, we do our agenda in advance. Yes, we work on what that agenda should be with the superintendent. Do we have to make this decision today? Is this something that we can move forward for our next meeting? We were just asking.
Well, our first meeting is set for Monday and we do have a full agenda. We have a course proposal on the agenda. So it would be great if we could proceed with, I actually even have November, December already lined out. So if that would be great. But, you know, it sounds like there's some things to think about too, but
Looking at
that's Monday.
Google form too, we need to, before we submit, we need to do the students. We can't do them separately, can we? The Google form has everybody.
As everyone.
Yeah.
You can just keep it open and then get sent.
Yeah. At the very end.
Done both conversations.
So you could click the community members now, but just don't hit send and then keep it open. We can talk students next.
Yeah. Okay. Does everybody feel like they're in a position to select the community members they would like to serve on CTAC? Is there anything else anybody wants to add?
Or I just want to say, I was just looking over the agenda minutes for this past year.
Yeah.
And the majority of the members attended the meetings. So there's only onesie twosies that were present. So just to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm proud that we have a nice active community. All right, does everybody feel ready to select the community members from their Google form? Everybody not feel ready, let's do it that way. And so, Rose, would your preference be for us to select them and not hit submit and then discuss the students?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give everybody a few minutes. Let me know when you've made your selections.
Would it be possible, I sometimes get names and faces confused. Can you tell us the names of the folks who spoke today?
Oh, of course. In person, Phil and Natalie. Zoom, I have one. Khalid, Heather, and Linda.
Okay.
And Annie. Oh, sorry, it's Annie. Linda, I read the statement. Tia, I read a statement. Joe, I read a statement. Joseph, I read a statement, and Lily, I wrote a statement. Shira and Michael did not submit a statement or share this evening. And Deborah has put a pause on being considered at this time.
Okay, so I make sure I remembered. It was.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So I just want to comment that I understand it's like a great issue to have many qualifying applicants. However, I believe the board should see it as which applicants will be the best to execute their goals as an individual and the goals of CCAC as a whole.
Yeah. You recommend we put the goals back up? The slide that I presented, would you
we
like?
should
Okay.
rethink over the goals and depending on the person's like description and about themselves, who you see the best to fit and execute their goal.
Okay.
We select 7 in the top portion of our form.
Yes. And then the second portion will be the 6 student members.
Okay. Is anybody not ready to move on to the student conversation? All right,
Okay.
next up.
Yes, okay, so for student consideration, at the retreat, I had shared that we would be looking at trying to select one student per school to represent. The applicants that you have before you, you'll also see the schools that they represent. You'll see that there was not a student application from Hillsboro High School. There also is a student who represents Oak Street campus and also Liberty, that's Daisy, who is in our early college program, but I just wanted to share that. So when we speak about selecting 6 students, we would love, and we will continue to try to recruit going into next year's applicants to have 6, 1 from every school. However, this year we were not able to do so, so I wanted to share that. But you will see, of course, the goal is to have representation from each of our schools, so you'll see which students are connected to which school. But I just wanted to revisit that conversation. We had spoke about we could select 3 students, one from every school that are represented on your form. They also, though, are the majority are seniors. We do have 1 freshman, Bridget. So in thinking about senior year as well, having the idea of having 6 students also when we know that there are probably going to be some activities that come up throughout the year also gives that group of students a little bit of flexibility of when they potentially may need to miss a meeting. It also aligns, the EEAC also has 6 students as well, but we will continue to focus on a student representative moving forward for each school. But I just wanted to share that when we were in discussion, just a couple of things that we were considering is that 3 or 6 number. Anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to, if Erica were here, she would probably be quick to point out too, as Rose noted in the Google form, we had so many qualified applicants hoping to join us on the school board. One of the things we did in person of those meetings was encourage those students to try, we only pick 1 from 8 applicants at Glencoe or something like that, right?
8
So,
Glencoe.
8,
8 applied and 4.
right.
Yeah, 4.
So yeah, so what you'll see there is a note that if the student had applied for the school board position as well. That's
Yes.
it's just something to consider that. So yeah, I like the idea of going with 6 students. It gives us room to, and I'm grateful that many of the students that we encouraged to stay involved chose to do so. And I'm open to the idea of, you know, if a student from Hill High decides they want to join, maybe we add them or whatever. So that's just a little context I wanted to.
Yeah.
Wasn't obvious, but I want to make sure you didn't. That's what that applied to board meant.
Yes.
In your group.
Any other questions about students before you then select that second portion on the Google form?
We do not have any statements from students.
We did not ask the students if they prepare statements at this time, but just their applications.
We have their application.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
provides some information.
Yeah, that we have all of their applications. Is anybody not ready to vote on the student?
Still trying to
We're
look
just
at
gonna take a
the link.
minute or two. Sure. Have the person.
Yeah, correlate your
We're gonna do
application.
it in advance, but-
It's right, yeah.
Please make it.
Yeah.
Anybody questions or whatever before we take our silent moments to ponder or correlate names and whatever?
Still trying to locate the link, Mark, I apologize.
Oh, do you have access to the board folder area?
Yes,
So the CCAC folder?
Yeah.
And then, let me back up one level. It's called, appointment link. It's a PDF. It's just got a link in it.
okay. I will.
And I can filibuster for a moment and just, as we've all celebrated, thank you so much to the community members for applying. Also, thank you so much for 10 students
Yeah.
applying as well. I think what a great number of students to say that they're interested in a voice in their own curriculum and choices to look forward to. So I just wanted to say that as well. But did I filibuster? Give enough time?
Filibuster, appreciate it.
Oh, yay. Okay. So we'll give everyone a moment.
Still not located, but.
We also have a paper.
To accept
Oh,
Oh, perfect.
Sorry,
Oh, it's okay.
I'm challenged today. Found it. Thank you. Really. Welcome.
Recap, seven on top, 6 on bottom.
Yes. So good. And then we will tally those votes and share that before we move downstairs.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh. Thank you guys for coming.
I really pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Press it back. Okay. Yeah. Everyone in? Alright. That's all we can avoid the butt.
Are we doing good, Rose?
Yeah.
Getting them in?
Six, well, right there, so you have all six.
You know, the next thing is, all right.
Here, thank you.
Yeah. What's that?
How many missing?
Me?
I know, but we need, yeah.
I'm doing it.
It's also wonderful. Yeah.
He said he doesn't need you to hold.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Is he doing all that?
Nope, that's his loss.
Yeah.
That's a big.
No, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I was wrong. I'll do this.
Total 5 students or 6?
6.
Thank you. And we're done.
Wrapping up. So our next agenda item, or do we want to, okay, yeah, so our next agenda item is safety and security update, and so we're going to get the presentation here.
Thank you. Good evening. So, tonight I've invited, Fred Keast, and Fred is our public safety systems specialist. And he's going to give us a brief overview of our security systems in our district, the systems that have been upgraded or added to our district over the past years. And Fred's role in our district is very unique and important because he works and collaborates with district administrators, staff. He also collaborates with outside agencies like architectural firms, construction management firms, engineering firms to design, install, manage, maintain, troubleshoot, train, basically do everything with respect to our public safety system. So we're going to go through and talk about, highlight some of those key systems for you, and afterwards let us know if you have any questions. And I will pass it off to Fred.
Okay, good evening. Thank you for the invite. As part of the bond, the original bond promise was about $11 million for safety and security upgrades. And due to some fortunate, able to move some money around, having good savings on that, we actually have spent almost $25 million on our physical security safety upgrades. So, can you advance? Thank you. So we worked with Reese Complete Security Solutions, was our primary vendor. They installed access control systems, our lockdown and lockout systems that alert staff. Will talk about that more in a moment. New intrusion alarms, security cameras. We also installed secure vestibules at all schools. Additional fencing and gates to direct people towards the main entry. And we also updated the exterior door keying to make that a restricted master key so that there's not a lot of them floating out there. So the access control system, it replaces our exterior door keys. It also allows us to schedule the doors to lock and unlock at various times. So you're meeting in order to come up the stairs here, to come in here, that's all part of the scheduled in that system to do that. We also have it integrated with the intrusion alarm system so that staff, certain staff have the ability with their badge and their employee ID number to arm and disarm whatever buildings that they're assigned to. So it gives us a little tracking to know who's in the building and what's going on. We also provided a video doorbell system for the main office so that they can pre-screen people prior to letting them into the secure area of the school. It also provides remote access for our district security to lock and unlock doors. So our lockdown and lockout systems are our primary safety systems. What this does is when that blue lockdown button is pushed, for example, it unlocks key doors to allow our first responders in. It plays an automated PA announcement that we have both in English and Spanish. Beth being the English speaker, I'm not sure who did the Spanish. Do you know that?
It was either Adanya or Annabella, I'm not sure.
Okay. So that comes over the PA system. So no longer, whether it be a drill or whether it be an emergency situation, you're actually going to get the same voice. It's a somewhat calm but directed, hey, you need to do this now. So it's not a panicky voice. And then on the back end of that, the alarm monitoring company then notifies our county dispatch that says, hey, Century High School is in lockdown. So that gives them an alert that something's going on at that school. It also then contacts Lisa Erickson, who is our chief of police for the district, and myself, so that we can then support our first responders as needed. And the lockout system is the same thing. It just secures all the perimeter doors if they're unlocked. It prevents door schedules from activating while that's in, and we use that primarily when there is a threat or a situation outside of the school. For example, Orenco Elementary had to go into lockout because police were looking for a armed and dangerous subject in the park right next to the school. So they hit the lockout button that makes sure that all the doors stay locked. It plays the PA announcement that tells people lock out, get inside, secure outside doors. And again, the alarm monitoring company calls county dispatch and says, hey, Orenco Elementary is in lockout. Then notifies Lisa and myself so that we can be of support as needed. As part of this system, we've also standardized our safety drill procedures in the district so that there is consistency from school to school. So when a student starts in pre-K, it goes all the way up through a senior in high school, their drills should be the same, regardless of the school that they're at. It's the same voice that you hear at all schools and all sites. Our new intrusion alarm systems, standardized. We had about 3 different types in the district. We were able to, and 5 different alarm monitoring companies, which made it very difficult. So now we've consolidated down to a single alarm monitoring company, which makes it a lot simpler. We also have remote monitoring access for the intrusion alarms. So I can get in and I can do work. If we have a bad door sensor, I can pull that out of the system so that people can arm and disarm that system. The one that I really want to talk about is the camera system. As you can see in your notes there, we have 1,165 cameras in the district now. For example, with a total of 2,313 camera views. So a school like Liberty High School originally only had 16 cameras. About 6 of them worked and only 4 of them could actually see actual video that clear enough that you could see. Now with this, we have 183 camera views at that school so that the whole school is then covered for that. It also provides mobile access for our night security, so that makes their jobs much more safer. When they get an alarm, they can get on the camera system, look at live video, or they can look at the historical video and see what happens. So for example, one of our district security officers was at Lenox Elementary when he got an alarm call for Groner. That's about a 25-minute drive from there, it's a long distance. He gets on the camera system, finds 3 individuals inside the school trying doors and whatnot. So he was able to call county dispatch and have the sheriff's department respond, and they were able to identify the people and recover lost district property that would have been stolen. A second example is just recently we had an individual break 8 windows at the Old Miller East building. We got every single one of those on camera. And because the quality was good enough, Hillsboro Police was able to identify that person and address it that way. The other example where the camera system has really benefited is at Butternut Creek. We used to have a large graffiti issue at the school. It was regularly tagged with graffiti all over around the school. As soon as we started installing the cameras and hung them up before they even were turned on, the graffiti issue has ceased at that school. So it saved the district resources and money in that. So it's been very beneficial. We also installed secure vestibules at each school. Some of the vestibules are exterior, where you have a door directly into the main office. So they have a video doorbell outside. So before the person even comes into the building, they have to call and come in. Most of the buildings, we have 2 examples here. If you look at the top picture, some of the schools where we just put simply a storefront wall with doors in it, so that when they ring the doorbell and the office decides to let them in, they come in the door. They can only go into the main office. They cannot go anywhere else in the school until the main office pushes the button to allow them through. Door release buttons are located, for the office staff to conveniently do that. The second picture down there is our most complicated one we had to build in Three Orchards because there is a staircase that exits right at the main door. So that's a high security risk there. So we were able to build this kind of little box so that you can still have fire egress and still have people coming in and force them to go into the main office to check in. Lastly, we did significant upgrades to fencing. For example, here at W.L. Henry, the fencing is designed to focus people to the front door. So somebody can't walk around and knock on a side door to try to get let in or something like that. It also provides safety for students by keeping them in the area and keeping other people out. So that's a general overview of all the systems. Does anybody have any questions or comments that they would like to know?
This is, it is not enough for us to say thank you. It is not enough for us to say that we appreciate what you've done because this is incredibly important right now. And I wish I could hire him for my day job. But this is incredible, but this is also an indication of where we are in our community and our society. And so that's, I don't have another word. So
Thank you, appreciate that. One other thing I will note, as I've talked with other districts about their security, Hillsboro is the top in the state. I have not found another system that is this comprehensive and combined together anywhere. There's other people that come close, Salem Kaiser, they've got some different things, but really the investment that the board made with this bond really, I believe, helps students feel safe because when they feel safe, they learn better. And that's ultimately what our goal is.
I want to thank you also for this work. It's great to be updated on this and say on two different perspectives. One, I know from talking to community members that the parents who trust us with their children's well-being while they're with us expect us to do everything to go above and beyond to keep them safe. And so we are. And I know a lot of students are very appreciative and are, like you say, able to learn better knowing that they're safe. I think that's true also, and it's also true that the National Association of School Psychologists has said that wherever possible, we should do what we can to make physical security measures unintrusive so that students aren't constantly reminded or feel like they're in a, they're not feeling like in a constant state of alarm. So I appreciate that we're doing this in a balanced way, everything we can to keep students safe, but at the same time, not making it feel like a prison atmosphere, for lack of a better term.
I just want to say, speaking from firsthand, because Hill and I had our first, I think it was the blue light ones, the lockdown. We had a drill for that. And coming from a outdoor school campus, I heard that a lot of kids are afraid of, like, I'm sad to say, but school shootings because it's an open campus. And I heard a lot of better comments with that security system because there's also students that knew that the doors would be locked. And they felt a lot safer. And I could tell on their faces, like some kids would be like, even though it was a drill, there was still this shaken like expression on their face. But with this new system, it was almost like it got with it.
All right.
This is great. Thank you for the explanation. You did a great job. You let me in, so I couldn't even get in the building.
Yeah, we had a little kick up and fixed.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for letting us present. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for all the hard work to keep all this safe every day. All right, next up, you can say if you want, you don't have to. Next up is a discussion of OSB elections. This shouldn't be too hard or too long. Get back to that. Yeah, right. Yeah. The situation page is pretty clear. there are seats open, and I'm so glad to confirm that it is our intent for position 20, which is currently held by Erica, that downstairs we will nominate Nancy Thomas for that position on the OSBA board. It is our intent for our board so she's put her name forward and she's asking for a nomination. And is there anything you want to add? I think we're all.
Just thank you for the opportunity to serve in different capacity.
So we'll be, I don't know what other boards will be doing, but we're going to nominate Nancy for that spot. And then for the legislative policy committee, position 16, which is currently held by me, Yvette has indicated that she would like to serve in that capacity. So it's our intent when we get downstairs to nominate her for that position. Is there anything you want to add or?
No.
Cool. Yvette and I were able to have a pretty good conversation about what it means, like what it's like to serve, and she seems very interested in learning more about the legislative process, and this is a really great opportunity to do that. It's the first-hand experience legislative. Yeah, it'd be great. So, any questions about nominations of the OSBA board positions that we'll be dealing with tonight? Next up is a summer school presentation. Audrey, I think that's, I think you're up, right?
I don't know if I need the clicker or can I?
Just let me know and I'll.
Okay, I will just bring it to it. No, it's totally fine. I can bring it to you. It's right here.
In my hand.
Either is totally fine.
Okay. Make sure it's on because it wasn't actually working for Fred.
There you go. Okay. All right, good evening, everybody. We wanted to just update you with our summer programs from this last summer, and we had done a similar presentation last year, so just wanted to give you a look at all that we did this summer. I'm sure there are a few things that are not on here, but we did some amazing things in our schools and just wanted to highlight that. So wanted to just review what we offered this summer in a more comprehensive level. At our high school levels, we offered a 2-week program for credit attainment. And so that all 4 of our comprehensive high schools offered something, including Oak Street campus, as well as Hillsboro online. At our elementary schools this year, we were able to offer kindergarten jumpstart at all of our Title I schools, which is just probably how it describes it. It's kindergartners that are going to be joining us that get a little jumpstart to their year. As usual, we offered extended school year through our student services department, and coupled with that, we offered recovery services as well, which is part of the COVID relief that we needed to do for them. And then we also offered our bilingual education program, BEP, which was focused on our students in dual, migrant, and English language learning. So those are the big ones that we offered. Got some cute little photos of kids there just so you can see them. And up above, if you'll notice, that is Senator Solomon. She came to visit a couple of our subject school programs and had the greatest time with some kindergartners and some students at our BEP program. So it was really fun. Next slide. Just to give you a little bit more information about our school-based programs, like I said, all of our schools had at the comprehensive high school had a program. We had over 1,000 students that were enrolled in our summer school programs. Not all 1,000 attended regularly for those 2 weeks, but a vast majority of them did. And during that time, we were able to attain 495.5 credits in that 2-week program. We also did a little bit of additional support throughout the summer, in which teachers were still continuing to work with students. Thanks to the invention of Google Classroom and just being able to connect with students online, you can actually do summer school a little bit longer at times. And so we were able to offer support to them. The grant-funded Title I Jumpstart program was 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the school and staffing, and really just focused on engagement and connecting with our newest learners coming into school. And we served 148 students across the 8 different Title I sites. So, a huge shout out to Heather Fix, who is our COSA here at the district office. She supported a lot of summer school work, and then each of the schools had leads that did a lot of work to make this happen because, again, serving over 1,000 students at the high school level and 148 kindergartners is a lot of work. So the next slide, I just wanted to show you some data that allows you to see the benefits of our summer program, especially for our high school students. Each of these slides contains information about where students were at the end of the school year versus the start of the school year. So what happened in between was summer school. So these are the metrics that show you for the number of students that were off track. Just as a reminder for everybody, if our ODE says you are on track if you have 6 credits overall, our metric is you have 6 credits, but 3.5 of those are in the core. So our metric is actually a little bit more challenging than ODE's metric. And so we really think the core is really important. And so we want to make sure that students are getting what they need to graduate. So the core would be our language arts, social studies, science, and math. So wanted to just show you that data and improvement. So this is the class of 2024. So our current 12th graders. At the end of the school year for our HSP metrics, we had 326 students that were off track. By the end of summer school and the start of the school year, we only had 301 that were off track. We know we still need to do things for the 301, and we've got plans and supports that are in place, but really it made a huge difference for 25 students to be in that program for sure. And it made a difference for the others as well, because again, while they might not be on track, we're closing up the gap that they need for graduating. You go to the next slide. That is the class of 2025. Again, same data set for them. This is our current class of juniors right now. So again, just an opportunity in which they were attaining credits to get them back on track and supporting that work. And then the next slide is the class of 2026, current 10th graders. This group had a great improvement. We had saw a 3.1% increase in this group of getting back on track at their sophomore year. We know if they're on track their freshman year, if we can get them, keep them on track, that's great. But again, at the sophomore year, we got quite a few students back on track. So hopefully setting them up for a successful junior and senior year after. So making a really great difference there for students. We got to the next slide. Extended school year is our program that's offered through student services. We invited 82 students to attend. We had 76 K-12 students attend, and that was 3 weeks in July. Really just focusing on skills for them, the regression skills that may have occurred during that time. It's a really amazing program. We have a huge shout out to our student services team and Lisa Stockbridge, who is one of our support specialists in the student services team that has run this for many years and just done an amazing job of taking care of our students there and just making it fun while learning at the same time. So supported by 12 licensed staff, 1 SLP, we have 4 nursing staff that are there and 38 classified staff that support those students. So it's a pretty amazing group of students and staff that have attended. And you see very familiar faces every summer in that program, and they come back every year and they just make connections for sure. So the next slide. Our other program, again, bilingual enrichment program, 750 students that we invited, and that was PK. So we had really little learners that came. They were adorable. And about 600 came on a regular basis to our BEP program. We hired visiting teachers from Guatemala and Mexico, and we were able to use the House Bill 3499, which was a grant that we have that supports our language learners, along with migrant funding and other funding sources to do this. We have a great involved Latino Latinx act that has also offered suggestions for improvement. And one of those things is the celebration night that they have. If you haven't been there, it's real hot, real sweaty in a gym, but amazing celebrations that occur that are beautiful, and kids, each level of kids showcase a different skill or talent. There was dancing, there was singing, there was food, there was all sorts of great stuff that happened that evening. Really, really amazing. Another thing that we did was we did a partnership with All Smiles, which is a dental screening, and we were able also to screen 145 kids during that and provide some dental services for students that they wouldn't have otherwise during that. So that is just, I'm trying to catch up on time, so I'm really fast, I feel like. So again, just a really amazing opportunity. And we offered internship opportunities for 6 high school students, and then our 54 bilingual teacher pathway students. They were submitted with them. So a lot of future teachers in that group.
Questions and comments? How much of this work would you say is in additional, the state legislature provided, and the governor's office provided extra funding 2 years ago for pandemic, a little bit this last year. How much of this was dependent on that supplementary funding that we wouldn't normally have?
So we did not get, so the supplementary funding for summer school didn't exist this year, so we utilized, what we have, from ESSER funding as well as gen ed funding. So last summer, if you remember, we actually had programs at every single one of our schools.
Yeah.
We were not able to do that in the same capacity, and so we had to prioritize. And so in this situation, we prioritize obviously our students that are in high school getting credit attainment, and then the focus on our Title I schools as well as the focus on our Title II. But we did do more through ESSER funding than we have normally done previously.
Sure. And
Great question.
Michelle Esser, this is it, right?
This is the final year, 23-24. Our SSD fund expires September 30th next year.
So it's possible we can continue to use match funding for next summer if we have any left. That's hard to.
We do have a plan for all of the dollars at this time that don't include summer programming, but that could be different by the time we get to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Not saying this will occur, but what do you have as a plan if the off-track students over time were to increase? And how do you plan against it?
If they were to increase, well, we really hope that doesn't happen. That's number one. We have been, high schools have been doing stuff like access time to try to catch some of the students. We also have offered more sections of academic options this year. In the past, typically we've staffed academic options as a 1.0 teacher, but just right now, knowing with kind of as we've come out of the pandemic, we've increased some of that staffing at schools and have been offering opportunities for students to gain credits in that way. The one wonderful benefit of HSC is while we offer 8 credits a year, so that's 32 credits total in space. Students only need 24 credits to graduate, so we've got flexibility in ways to make up those credits so that we can catch kids before they get to their senior year. But the goal would be to not have them get behind. We're really focused on keeping them on track once we get them there. It's a great question.
I would just add as well as in our high school success plan, also known as Measure 98, there's an investment on track coaching at every building as well. So how do people come together as teams and talk about students and wrap around them and support them? So that the hope that doesn't happen, and how do we continue to refine practices so that the adults, our counselors and our administrators, our teachers can support every student along the way. So that's an investment in that plan that we've intentionally made moving forward.
Other comments or questions?
Yeah, just real briefly, we were talking in the presentation, it occurred to me, I actually don't know what the total number of our Title I schools is.
8.
8.
We didn't make it.
Figured it was somewhere in that.
And I know we all have very busy lives. I'll suggest if you get a chance, it's very rewarding to visit our summer program. If you get a chance, it's pretty amazing what's going on there. Yeah.
I've also visited during the school year. I'll happily take you.
Sure. Any other questions? All right. Our next agenda item is a discussion of our board goals. I think our administrative team has done a pretty good job of taking, it's on page 8 of our packet, which you may have seen already, as a stab at 3 board goals for this year. And I would love to get feedback and people's perspective on how they feel that what we have on page 8 here encapsulated our discussion at the last time. And if you're comfortable, please. Our planning session, I have to admit, I thought they were pretty good. Give everybody a chance to review them real quick. These are the things before. Things are pretty good. Anybody have any comments like that? Well, I guess go around the room to, start here, or Sheehan? Do you feel comfortable with setting these as board goals, or do you have any concerns, or would you want anything to change?
No concerns to me. Thank you.
Sorry? Little bonus. Patrick, how do you feel about these?
I think they're great. I think that very nicely encapsulated. The only note I made bringing them over is that we say mayor and city manager in the three cities, but the city council only the city of Hillsboro. I don't want the city council every one time to kill this, but we don't care about it. So I just want to be clear that we're happy to be in the city council one time too.
And coincidentally, I did, since this conversation where we crafted these, saw a member of the North Bend City Council. I mentioned our district staff might be reaching out to Andy, or sorry, their city manager, and hopefully trying to put something together. So
yeah, no, but they're great.
Just for me on that front, like living for most of my time in the Hillsboro School District outside the city limits of Hillsboro, it is very important for me to help people remember that the Hillsboro School District is much bigger than the city of Hillsboro. It covers a lot of areas that are not the city of Hillsboro. I lived in Willow for 20 years. I do think Hillsboro and North Plains are a little bit different than Cornelius in that the entire city of Hillsboro is in our district, the entire city of North Plains is our district. Cornelius is sort of split. So I don't want to discount our relationship with the municipality of Cornelius, but it is different. Nancy, you feel comfortable with these goals? What do you think? It's good. For sure, that's good. We discussed in our planning session. All right, so it's not really action adopt or anything. We just like,
I think you do.
we like we'll put on the agenda that.
You're agreeing that you're gonna go ahead with them and then we'll put them on for adoption.
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Long.
All right, so look for a future action item to adopt our board goals for the year.
Just want to make sure we need.
We're good. Gotcha. All right, our next agenda item, or anything else on that? Good. All right. Our next agenda item, this should be very, very quick. I thank everyone for their heartfelt conversations about the HB 2753 discussion last time. What has happened in the meantime, if you're not aware, is that either school board or legislature, somebody requested information from the Oregon Ethics Commission, and the Oregon Ethics Commission has said that there are only these four. They believe that it would be unethical for a school board to vote to provide a stipend for themselves. So, right. So, I think we all struggled with I could feel us sort of struggling with the conversation last time, knowing that it was an awkward place. I think that's justified. The Oregon Ethics Commission feels like it would be unethical for us to do that. They suggested 4 ways for us to be compliant if we wanted to do a stipend. I didn't get the sense that anybody was feeling super strongly about implementing a stipend in our last conversation. I don't know if you had a chance to watch or look the minutes or whatever. We had a decent conversation about whether or not to adopt the stipend thing. I believe the number 4 of their step, just wait and see if the legislature comes up with a fix. So I know we sort of tabled the discussion, figured we would return to it. I'm fine with the idea of not returning the discussion until just possibly legislative fix that satisfies the Oregon Ethics Commission. Does anybody else feel differently about that? Does anybody else want to return to this conversation and find a way to provide the stipend and yet be compliant with the Oregon Ethics Commission other than wait for the legislature? Or any discussion about stipends at all?
Sorry, Mark, could you repeat, are you saying that the way that the bill is written right now would not allow us to be compliant with the Oregon Ethics Commission? Is that what you're saying if we were to approve the stipend?
It's more subtle than that. Yeah, Rose and I struggled with how much of the Oregon Ethics Commission to include in the situation page. It's much longer than this. But yeah, in our last discussion, we all sort of, many of us were uncomfortable with the idea of providing ourselves financial compensation for a job that we volunteered to do. But also understand, like, it can provide opportunities for people that, so basically, in between the time we had our discussion and now, the Oregon Ethics Commission said, they believe it's unethical for a board member to vote to provide a stipend for themselves. They provided those 4 options where it's like, I could vote for one for Monique, but she could vote for one for herself, which I'm not super comfortable with. Or we could vote to implement it for future boards, but not for ourselves. So there's a few options there on the situation page. I'm most comfortable with seeing if the legislature, which happens quite frequently, measures, bills get revised in subsequent legislatures to become more legally compliant or to do legislative fixes. When I was fortunate enough to work in a representative and senator's office, legislative fixes were a thing that were always a thing we were working on. So I guess it's my background in that makes me comfortable with. I don't feel a need to make a decision that complies with these sort of unusual restrictions. I'm comfortable with just seeing if the legislature wants to do a legislative fixes. Somebody else feel differently about that? Yeah.
I don't feel differently. Since we have a couple minutes, I'll just say, by way of additional background, I would want to request to pick up an ethics session.
That's done.
Yeah. So I read the Oregon Government Ethics Commission advice every so often, just out of curiosity, and it's interesting to see what advice they're giving people across the state about different situations. And a couple of years ago, they gave advice to like Oswego City Council about increasing their stipend days that the city council pays and about how. So there's a whole opinion issue. And I was thinking about our situation and I wrote to them and said, in all humility, I'm sure that the OSBA is right and that, there's no objection to this, but I would be more comfortable so that we're not in a situation where we get investigated if you give us opinions agreeing with that before I vote as a board member. And the director wrote back and said, no, actually, I would like to issue a formal opinion because I do have some concerns. And so I said, well, sure,
Yeah.
And so like the bottom line is in the law, the legislature suspended the provision that doesn't allow compensation. So that part has been violated, but the actual conflict of interest, or if any of us have a conflict of interest, or anything we vote on because it would financially affect us, that part was not explicitly suspended. And so the director's staff opinion is that we should do one of these elaborate methods to get around that or wait for the legislation to clarify.
Yeah.
So I wasn't intending to cause any trouble. I just wanted to be sure that we were fulfilling our obligations in line with that opinion I had read earlier. And so I'm glad that we caught this before we had to go to an investigation phase or anything.
Yeah, I was very glad to see that they made is it a ruling or just a proclamation or whatever? I'm glad that the ethics commission weighed in because I felt like, I personally was struggling with what was the right thing to do. And having seen them write it out made, help clarify some of those concerns I had. Yeah, so thanks for doing that. So I think like if everybody's okay with the idea of just, I don't think I didn't feel during our discussion that any board member was interested in following ahead with this no matter what. So I'm comfortable basically, if anybody feels differently, Yvette and I work with the staff to create the agendas for board meetings. If somebody feels like something changes or really wants to discuss this in the future, please let us know and we'll be sure to get it on the agenda. But otherwise, I'm gonna, you probably won't see this on the agenda until there's either some legislative action or something changed with the Oregon Ethics Commission. So, all right. Oh, well, there you go.
You like to play on that?
Sorry.
Play on that.
When I'm done. So to circle back to our CCAC discussion, leading vote getter and ties for the community members, 6 of the 7 positions are pretty clear. And in students, 5 of the 6 positions are very clear.
Yep.
So I feel somewhat comfortable with where we're at. I'm open to discussion about how we resolve things. We know that Erica is going to be joining us soon for the regular session downstairs. My sort of thought is I prefer to have the opinion of every board member, and since she's not joining us all tonight, she is joining us. I think I would prefer to have her submit her votes, and then we see where we are. Otherwise, I guess we would look at the tied applicants and read ballots just for those. Does anybody have any other suggestions on how we would resolve the one remaining position in each category? Everybody start finding waiting for Eric as well, and her votes may not change it, but it's possible.
So if it doesn't, what do we do?
Yeah, if it doesn't, what do we do? My suggestion would be we recast we just consider the tied applicants, eliminate everybody who's not tied, and we all submit 1 vote for the pool of applicants who are tied. That seem like a reasonable approach, or then we have a better idea? So it's 3 votes is it, so everyone who got 4 or more votes for the community are already considered, I would say that can't change, so everybody got 4 more votes, so that makes it clear, so it's only people who got 3 that remain. I don't know how many people did have 3, how many? Community one.
There's 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh. Okay. Yep.
I have a question, just a little bit, it's still on the CCA topic, but something that Travis said that made me dig a little deeper and think about something. But when you talk about those who've been on the CCAC and they're still in good standing, reinstatement, you had mentioned about 2 unexcused absences. So are all absences considered unexcused, or just certain ones are considered excused? The reason I'm asking is because I went back and looked, and one of our candidates, according to that rule, would not be in good standing because they missed more meetings than that. So that's why I'm asking.
I think the norm that we've had, and again, this isn't in policy, it's just the norm set by the group for itself, was that if it's excused, it doesn't count against you. So that, in other words, a person could miss for medical or family reasons, and as long as they were excused, then they wouldn't be on night out. The
Guess we know it's the holiday season. Pumpkin spice season. But you considered everybody on the list in good standing.
I did, but I get Monique's point too, that if I couldn't name nor do I think we should right now, who it was just a couple meetings. But my assumption would be, since they're not on my potential naughty list, that they have excused reasons for not showing. Usually Stephanie and I would know, like, if this person hasn't shown up for 2 months and we haven't heard from them, that's the kind of.
Yeah, people have to. Yeah. So I guess I don't really know I would love to resolve it tonight if the first meeting is on Monday. So I guess we have, and every student to receive 4 or more votes. There's 2 students tied at 3. Yeah. So we would recast ballots for those 2 students.
And not see one's freshman.
One's a senior, one's a freshman. Yeah. They're both blended total. Right, so if everybody's comfortable with America's vote breaks the deadlock, then cool. If it doesn't, then yeah, we'll have to, I would love to find a way to make sure we have the committee appointed tonight, so we'll tally up the ties and recap.
Just
yeah, just for those.
Just like you said, one single vote.
Yeah. And keep doing that until we get, if there's 5, keep it 3 votes.
Nobody can understand.
We used to do it in circular.
We may do it again. Yeah, be on the board, right? Yeah. So, if there's 5, I could see us having to do 2 rounds and whittle that down to 1 person, so.
And we'll do that downstairs.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, we can go ahead and get started. I'm guessing Erica was in a.
She was driving,
Yeah, so she would have the benefit of their personal, I mean, it seemed valuable, at least it weighed into my decision making. Whether people submitted comments, whether, that, so I will share with her whatever information, like however you can summarize what we heard earlier.
Yeah.
Right, for her as best you can, and then we'll let her try to vote.
Do you want me to summarize in the meeting, or do you want her just to look through the slides that are provided and for her to do that way?
If you could have a quick chat with her, that'd be great, but if
Okay.
not, that's fine.
Okay.
Right?
She may already be ready to vote.
Yeah, what's that?
She may already be
Yeah.
ready to
You may
vote.
already be ready, right,
Yeah.
yeah, she's already ready. Cool, I mean, she has been getting texts from Rose about, hey,
Yeah.
you think we're gonna need your vote, so she probably is aware that this is the thing, so. Yeah, I'll keep this. There's no way Erica's vote changes who these 6 are though, right? I mean,
Yeah, if she votes one
yeah,
of those,
people go to 5 instead
Yeah.
of 4,
Yeah.
right? Cut line.
or the 3, before she votes for,
Yeah, my guess is that the current highest vote getters won't change based on whatever she does. right?
who she votes for.
We just may end up with more people tied at 4, which would.
No, I don't need that.
I know, it's like,
Maybe that's where she, next meeting, and so she doesn't.
Saying that anything's possible. All right, if everybody's good with that, I think our work session is adjourned. We will be downstairs for our regular session. I call the regular session of the Hillsboro School District 1J to order. We'll begin today, as we always do, with our flag salute. For those of you here in the room, the flag is at the back of the building there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we gather here today, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that our district service area is on the occupied traditional homelands of the Atfality Indigenous people, lands we now call Washington County and the state of Oregon. We honor the Indigenous people whose traditional and ancestral homelands we stand on, the Tualatin Kalapuya, Kathlamet, Clackamas, Tumwater, Malala, bands of the Chinook, and many other Indigenous nations of the Columbia River. And remembering these communities, we honor their legacy, their lives, and their ancestors. We also recognize the urban, Indigenous, Native First Peoples community living in the metro area, which includes over 400 tribal nations. The Hillsboro School District is committed to the recognition and education regarding tribal and local history and working with our local tribes in partnership. We have a few proclamations this evening. And Yvette, you're first. You can go over there to that microphone.
Hear me now?
Yep.
Perfect. The Hillsboro School District observes Hispanic and Latina OX Heritage Month as a time to celebrate the achievements, histories, traditions, and cultural diversity of the Hispanic and Latina OX Americans, who, according to the latest U.S. Census, were almost 19% of the U.S. population, or 62.6 million people. The Hillsboro School District remembers that the observation started in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Lyndon Johnson, and was enacted into law on August 17, 1988. Under President Ronald Reagan to recover a 30-day period starting on September 15th and ending on October 15th. The Hillsboro School District honors the vibrant history and diverse cultures of Oregon's Hispanic and Latina OX community as a central part of our state's story, and recognizes that people of the Latinx descent contributed to the prosperity and culture throughout the history of the Hillsboro School District. The Board of Directors of the Hillsboro School District do hereby proclaim the month of September 15th, 2023 to October 15th, 2023 the Hispanic and Latina OX Heritage Month. We urge all community members to join us in recognizing the many contributions and achievements of Hispanic and Latina AOX Americans to the development of prosperity of our community. The Hillsboro School District Board of Directors.
The Hillsboro School District recognizes the impact that workforce development programs have had in rebuilding our economy, building a pipeline to good quality jobs, and supporting underserved communities. The Hillsboro School District knows that workforce development programs bring together leading business, labor, education, and other critical partners to showcase the impact workforce programs have on building our workforce. The Hillsboro School District values that the investment in education, training, and future career advancement of HSD students is crucial to their ability to compete in a global economy and achieve economic equity. The Hillsboro School District understands that collaboration among all members of the local workforce development system, including industry partners, workforce development entities, and community-based organizations, is critical to system alignment and preparing a workforce to meet not only the current but future needs of our community. The Hillsboro Board of Directors, or the Board of Directors of the Hillsboro School District, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2023 to be Workforce Development Month. We urge all community members to join us in recognizing that we must work together to make our schools safe, secure, and peaceful places for learning, teaching, and working.
It is a busy month. The Hillsboro School District appreciates that a week in October has been designated to increase awareness of the importance of safe schools, that it is critical for schools and communities to work together to ensure that our children are safe from harm and able to thrive in their academic environment. The Hillsboro School District knows that excellence in education is dependent on safe, secure, and peaceful school settings. The Hillsboro School District recognizes that all children deserve to learn in environments where they feel safe and free from harm. The Hillsboro School District encourages schools, communities, and organizations to work together to stop bullying and cyberbullying and put an end to hatred and racism by increasing awareness of the prevalence and impact of all forms of bullying on children of all ages. The Hillsboro School District believes that it is important to focus public attention on school safety and identify, develop, and promote answers to these critical issues. The Board of Directors of the Hillsboro School District do hereby proclaim the week of October 15th through the 21st, 2023 to be Safe Schools Week. We urge all community members to join us in recognizing that we must work together to make our schools safe, secure, peaceful places for learning, teaching, and working.
As I read this on principals, I think of the kind and thoughtful people I had as principals growing up in Astoria School District on the coast. The Hillsboro School District recognizes that principals and assistant principals work tirelessly each day as visionaries, assessment experts, community builders, public relations experts, budget analysts, facility managers, special programs administrators, and guardians of various legal, contractual, and policy mandates and initiatives. The Hillsboro School District appreciates that principals and assistant principals work collaboratively with both teachers and district staff to develop and maintain high curriculum standards, develop mission statements, and set performance goals and objectives for schools to achieve educational excellence. The Hillsboro School District honors exemplary principals and assistant principals who have succeeded in providing high-quality learning opportunities for students, as well as their outstanding contributions to the profession.
The Hillsboro School District celebrates that Principals Month gives an opportunity to honor and recognize the contribution of all school principals and assistant principals to the success of every student in the district. The Board of Directors of the Hillsboro School District do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 be National Principals Month. We urge all community members to join us in recognizing the many contributions and achievements of principals and assistant principals to the development and prosperity of our community.
Thank you. All right. Before we move to our next action item, I just want to note for the record, in previous meeting minutes, we have it's been noted in previous minutes that we administered the oath of office to Patrick and Yvette here in the boardroom. Just want to note that she and Kim did receive her oath of office here in the boardroom, just didn't happen to be in a meeting. It's very common, very normal thing, happens all the time, all over the state in various ways. And just wanted to make sure that it was noted in this meeting's minutes that had taken place. That said, do we have, would anybody like to move to approve the agenda today?
I move that the Board of Directors approve the agenda as printed.
Second.
It has been moved by Director Ward and seconded by Director McGuire that the Board of Directors approve the agenda as printed. Is there any further discussion? Is there any opposition? The agenda is approved. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that the Board of Directors approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Kim and seconded by Director Thomas that the Board of Directors approve the consent agenda as printed. Is there any further discussion? Is there any objection? Consent agenda is approved. Next item on our agenda is audience time, and I believe we have at least one person, maybe two.
There's two that filled out the form, so
Two
that
fill out
I
the
don't
form?
believe that I see two. Well, I'll still call out their names in the order that they submitted the form.
I have the pleasure of reading our brand new audience participation statement. And again, thanks to Director Ward and Director McGuire for helping craft this. As representatives of the community, members of the Board of Directors believe that listening to public input is essential to making wise decisions. So we thank you for taking the time to be here. We consider this your time to speak and our time to listen. So individual board members will not reply to you directly immediately following your comment. If a board member hears something that requires additional attention, they may request it be added to a future meeting agenda, or the superintendent or his designee may reach out directly to you. We are fortunate in the Hillsboro School District to have a collaborative community that can discuss points of disagreement in a respectful manner. With this in mind, rudeness, ridicule, obscene or profane language, impatience, lack of respect for others, and personal attacks are not acceptable. Comments aimed at state and federally protected classes are prohibited. Audience demonstrations supporting or opposing a speaker or idea is not permitted. We welcome frank discussions of district operations and programs, but in public sessions, the board does not hear comments regarding any individual district staff member. Public participation in board meetings is governed by policy BDDH, public comment at board meetings. There are structured channels for the board to review complaints involving staff members described in the board policy KL, public complaints. As you start your remarks, please share your name and if speaking for an organization, the name of your organization. We allow up to 3 minutes for each public comment. Please feel free to follow up by email with the board or superintendent. Who is our first audience time participant?
The first name I have is Lorena Maciel, and I don't believe she's with us.
Lorena, are you here and available? We'll give her a minute to. Do we have anyone else signed up today?
Yes, we have Christine Han Y. I hope that I said that
Who's
correctly.
here? Okay.
Who's here?
Would you like to? Oh.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, everybody. I stand before you as a concerned parent and volunteer who has witnessed the negative spiral initiated by large class size in both of our kindergarten classrooms at West Union Elementary. Both classes currently have 29 students. The issue is twofold: teacher burnout and compromised educational quality. I brought this issue to the district last week, but unfortunately, they are now fixing this issue by splitting a current first grade class into a kindergarten and first grade split class. The amount of students in those classrooms drops to 24 to 25. This is a band-aid solution that doesn't address systematic problems with class size and resource allocation. This approach does not solve the underlying issues of class size, but merely redistributes the problem, potentially creating inequalities in educational experiences. First grade and kindergarten curricula are designed differently. Combining classes compromises the integrity of each curriculum. Asking a teacher to manage a split level class adds complexity and increases the likelihood of teacher burnout. The developmental gap between first graders and kindergartners is significant. Mixing them could hinder the learning process for both groups. Splitting a current first grade class disrupts the learning environment and social dynamics of those students. We must remember that our children are not just a number on a sheet. They are individuals with unique learning needs. By lumping different grade levels together, we are treating them as mere statistics, not as young minds that need tailored attention. I have a direct question for all of you. Would you consider this a suitable solution if your own children, nieces or nephews or grandchildren were in that class? Would you be content knowing that they are just another number in a crowded room? I strongly advocate for the creation of a third kindergarten class. This would not only reduce the teacher to student ratio, but also enhance the overall learning experiences of our younger students. When teachers are better supported, it is our children who reap the rewards. Through increased one-on-one attention and improved academic outcomes, let's give our children the educational experience that they deserve, not just a number in a system, but as individual future leaders they are destined to become. I know that our neighboring district has the same problem as we do in 3 separate classrooms this school year, and they managed to open 3 more classes in 2 different schools. Why can't we do the same? Whenever I click into the Hillsboro School District website, I see the phrase, know, value, and empower every student to achieve their dream. Please make that a reality for every student in our school system. We need to know that by providing enough support for our teachers, they are the backbone of our educational system, not just shoving 29 kindergartners in one classroom and asking the teachers to deal with it. When teachers are supported, it's not just students who win, the entire community benefits. Our teachers shape the future by shaping our children. Let's support them in the way they deserve so they can continue to support the next generation effectively. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm emotional, so thank you.
Thank you. Our next, before we get to our next agenda item, I just want to also note and express gratitude to all of the people who have made it possible for us to have ASL interpretation for our board meeting tonight. And I believe it's a thing we intend to do going forward. So thanks to the tech department, thanks to everybody who made this happen. Appreciate it. Yeah, sure. Next up is our report section. Michelle begins with our financial report.
Thank you, Chair Watson. This is the first financial report of the 23-24 school year. And what that means, other than I'm pretty excited to share information with you guys, is that we have getting to the end of our 22-23 year in terms of reporting and starting to look ahead, which gives us just one more year of data and context in terms of the goals we have moving forward. So just a note for our cell work, our Center for Educational Leadership work, all departments come together and we focus on how we can support our principals as instructional leaders. We're on example 70, which means we're going into our 7th year of this focused work, and a little bit proud of that maybe, and happy to share that situation with you guys. We do have some donations of note, both for Three Orchards Elementary School PTO for general education, $18,893.93. And then a donation of $5,000 and $5,947 from Icing Community Choir to HSD for the Mariachi Una Voz program. Really thankful for that community support that we get. I know that that's included also in the consent agenda, but it's definitely a welcome support. And you can see our workers' compensation records, our 22-23 year after it's all finished. We had fewer incidences than the prior year. So I think that we're making some positive movement in that as we target employee safety at work. And I'm not going to get much more into the narrative, but I did want to note you have two cash flows. One is an audited cash flow for the full year of 22-23, and then just a year to date for 23-24 as our fiscal year ends on June 30th and begins again on July 1st. So happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
Somebody have any questions for Michelle? Erica's got her hand up. Yes, Erica?
Hi, everybody. Please excuse me for being late today. I had another commitment earlier, but I just wanted to thank Michelle on her financial report, just adding extra information around either process improvements or changes that they do within the department. I know that's not within our role as board members to have a say in operations, but it's also really nice to be able to just read what's going on in the finance office. So just wanted to say thank you for sharing that additional information for us. I do read it and I enjoy hearing about those improvements.
Thank you, Erica.
Other questions for Michelle?
I do have one question. I wanted to know, Michelle, could you briefly explain for our audience that might be listening, to indicate it as unaudited has a certain stigma that goes with it? I think I understand what that means as a former internal auditor. I was just wondering if you could give our audience an understanding of it doesn't sound quite as bad as it might.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. Yes, unaudited means it's an early estimate. We have prepared a draft of our financial report for our auditors to review. They spent all last week with us, but the report will be finalized and then brought forward to the board in December for review and approval at that time. So this single cash flow statement, it's just an early picture of what that looked like for our general fund. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Michelle? All right, next presentation is the Division 22 standards presentation. Brooke, I believe you're leading that.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. The annual Division 22 assurances provides an opportunity to 1, assure the district's compliance with Division 22 standards, 2, assure that the district's status regarding Division 22 has been reported publicly, and 3, identifies any areas found to be out of compliance and provide an action plan for bringing those areas into compliance. So tonight, we will be reviewing and discussing the 22-23 school year plan. I also want to take a moment to thank a few people. Thank you to Susan Payne from the Oregon Department of Education, who has worked closely with me in helping to provide context to, as I'm new to this report. So I just want to give her a public shout out for all of her support. To the team around me and those that you do not see tonight, those who are reflected within our assurance plan and our staff who work tirelessly to meet these rules and be in compliance. And thank you to Superintendent Ryman for his past work on Division 22 and a great handoff to me as I work on this report as well. So thank you to everyone and your support on this. Let's talk about what is Division 22. So when rules are assigned to Division 22, they become part of Oregon standards for both elementary and secondary schools. And the educational standards that either the Oregon legislation or the state board have determined that we need to report and be in compliance of. Also, the compliance with Division 22 standards ensures that every student in Oregon that are in public schools is provided with a baseline level of service that meets the standards set by the state. You can see that there are 4 large categories within Division 22, and then there are also subcategories. You also have the comprehensive report that is attached in your board packet this evening that outlines all 60 rules. If there are questions about these rules, there are links also that you can refer to. I have
use the rules at a glance very much putting this report together. But these other links also help to support any types of wonderings around these rulings. Also, this report is part of the Division 22 Standards Assurance process, which is required by the statute of ORS 327.103. The assurances process is combined by both local and state accountability, and districts are required to report to the community in a district board meeting and then also post to our district website. I am happy to share that this year we will be posting the report that you have in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. So when we do post that onto our external site, we will have all three languages represented within that report. So why is this process important? It does signal that school districts and the ODE's joint commitment to providing a high quality education for all of our students and equitable opportunities that are provided within our district. As part of the shared responsibility to provide quality service for our students and communities, this promotes a reciprocal accountability between our school district, our board, and ODE. We do have one corrective action plan that I will be outlining this evening. So just to take note of these bullets and know that I will be sharing about the one corrective action plan that we ODE is aware of, supports us in, and I'll be reporting on that. In our 22-23 report, we make this report every fall because it also reflects an entire school year. So the team around you and those that we also support within our teams, we started working on this report in late July. So once the school year closed, we started to look at this report, look at the rules, and start that work on compliance. There are two rules that are still waived. One is the essential skills policy. So that one, during the June meeting, the State Board of Education asked the board to extend the suspension of the assessment for essential skills through 27-28. However, the board is scheduled to make that decision in October. So we have yet to hear if it will be waived continuing on. And then the second one that was waived in 22-23 was the PE collection, data collection. Our team is prepared to submit that data collection moving forward, but last year that one was waived for us to be reporting on. New rules that came up in 22-23. Each of those three rules do have a dedicated staff member that has been assigned to those. You'll also see that in your report, our team is in compliance with each of those three. So volunteer organizations, the operational plan, and our educational equity advisory committees each have a point of contact, each have reported that we are in compliance. We are familiar with House Bill 3199. We talked about this in our board retreat as well. So many districts were waiting for this to hopefully be passed, which it did, and it was effective July 1 of 2023. Our PE minutes, you'll see on the next slide, in 22-23, they were at 215. So we were just 10 minutes shy of that 225 mark. However, in 23-24, now with House Bill 3199 at the 150-minute mark, we're actually well over the requirements with 65 additional minutes that students are accessing PE on a weekly basis. You'll also see that we are compliant in 58 of the 60 categories, so one being PE minutes, that we had to report that we were out of compliance in the 22-23 year, but with House Bill 3199, now going to 23-24, we are in compliance. The other one that I spoke of earlier, we do have a corrective action plan for instructional materials adoption. We are working very closely with the Oregon Department of Education in the support of that plan. And you were very familiar with this work in the three categories of secondary health, secondary language arts, and secondary world languages. So much work took place last year in that corrective action plan. I just wanted to take a moment to thank our teaching and learning team and the hard work that they put forth in this. Our Hillsboro School District educators, so much work went into each three of those. Our CCAC of last year, Superintendent Ryman, and our school board, thank you so much. That's a heavy lift in one school year as we work through that corrective action plan.
So in an overview, by May or June, we had adopted all three of those content areas, and now implementation is in the classroom within health, within our secondary language arts, and once again, within our secondary world languages. Looking ahead, next year, we will be reporting on our health services plan. Our lead district nurse is aware of this, is ready to report. There's a new template that will be provided, and she has assured me that she is ready to be meeting that new rule and how to write that report up for us. So that is a new one for us to be looking at for 23-24. Once again, I had mentioned the essential skills in October is going to be back up for consideration, as well as menstrual dignity for students. So both of those were slated in September, but because of so much public comment that came, they have pushed that now to October. So these potential rule changes have not quite yet been determined. However, both of those, the team has assured me that we will be ready to report and meet both the essential skills requirement if that is back in place, and as well as for our Division 22 menstrual dignity, if once again that is part of what we report on in 23-24. Let's see. So with that, that concludes our report for Division 22, once again in the 22-23 year, and I'd love to entertain any questions that you may have.
Does anyone have any questions for Brooke? All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
And our first action item relates to that. So,
Yes, keep in the clicker.
Okay, I will need it though. Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion regarding our Division 22 compliance?
Mark, I move that the Board of Directors approve the one-year postponement of Hillsboro School District K-12. Wait, is that the right one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
What's that?
I think Brooke has a presentation.
right. We haven't
Just the
talked
one
about
slide.
Oh, you have one slide for this?
Yep.
Oh,
I
okay.
apologize.
Sorry, I didn't realize there was a slide related
Wait,
to it.
Mark, I'm blaming you.
Sorry, there's a lot going on back here.
Right.
It's okay. No, I appreciate it.
What's
This
the
is
slide?
very well, this is connected. So as we were doing our report, this year, it's so exciting. We had the opportunity to adopt a new K-12 social studies curriculum. In that, as the team was looking at the process to be adopting that, we are requesting that we move our K-12 math adoption to the following school year. So currently, as written, we have our adoption going on the 23-24 year. However, the request is tonight that our board approves us moving it by 1 year. And some of the reasons are outlined. One, to file a corrective action plan on the postponement of a K-12 adoption. It first starts with our school board. Two, to have 2 curriculum implementation plans going on, especially at the elementary level. So to have teachers not only implementing new social studies curriculum, but new math curriculum at the same time next year, that would be, I think, a really heavy lift for our teachers. So we're taking that into consideration in this ask. The third is a financial responsibility. We get curriculum dollars every year to fund a adoption. So to have our social studies be the focus this year and those dollars go to that this year, and then our funding going to the math adoption next year makes some financial sense for us as well. Also, ODE just approved a new curriculum list. So for our team to take some more time to explore those materials is another reason we're asking for that. Also, the planning time for math pathways at the secondary level. The team, once again, feels like if they had 1 more year to really explore those math pathways and then start the adoption next year, would be great for them. The postponement plan, this one is the last bullet because it also just want you to know that the postponement plan for fall of 2025, it actually still falls within the approved ODE postponement period
which there's a full table about postponement periods because of the pandemic impacts. So that shift in the request will still fall within the approved postponement period for math. So for those reasons, once again, we're asking for that postponement to be shifted for the 23-24 year to now the adoption process to move forward in the 24-25 year. And so therefore, I am asking tonight for the consideration for a vote to move this forward.
So, and because of those reasons, Mark, I would like to move that the Board of Directors approve the 1-year postponement of the Hillsboro School District K-12 math adoption process to move from 2023 to 2024 to the 2024-2025 school year.
A second. It's been moved by Director Thomas and seconded by Director McGuire that the Board of Directors approve the 1-year postponement of the Hillsboro School District's K-12 math adoption process to move from the 23-24 to the 24-25 school year. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, I have a quick question. I hope it's a quick question. So on the social studies and the math, how old is that curriculum? In other words, which, is the social studies older than the math, or, I know there's a 7-year cycle, but.
Yeah. Monique, I would need to go back to the table that we sent in a board update right after our retreat. And that kind of outlined the last time that we had those curriculum adoptions. So I can go back and look at that and then send a board update on that timeline. Oh, Audrey, that's the one thing is older. I think that is what your
curriculum of the two. Okay.
Patrick, looks like you have a question.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
I
sorry.
do have a lot of questions, not this time.
Okay. Any follow-up? You good?
We're good.
Any other questions or comments regarding this motion? Rose, can you call the roll, please? Sorry.
Kim, Sheehan Kim,
Aye.
Erica Lopez,
Aye.
Patrick McGuire,
Aye.
Nancy Thomas,
Aye.
Monique Ward,
Aye.
Yvette Pantoja,
Aye.
Mark Watson.
Aye. Motion carries. Our next action item concerns our opportunities to appoint people to the OSBA Board of Directors and then subsequently the Legislative Policy Committee. Before we get too far down the line, I want to thank Director Lopez for her service on the OSBA board. She will not be continuing in position 20, and I appreciate the years of service that she's given to the community in that regard. Thank you. I am happy to say that we do have a member of our board that would love to continue participating in leadership in the OSBA board. So with that, I move that the Board of Directors nominate Nancy Thomas for the OSBA Board of Directors position number 20.
Second.
It's been moved by me and seconded by Director Lopez that the Board of Directors nominate Nancy Thomas for the OSBA Board of Directors position number 20. Is there any further discussion? Nancy, anything you want to add? Patrick, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say that it's such a pleasure to know that Nancy's willing to do this. In the short time we've served together, I feel like I've learned so much from her questions and her moral outlook on the world. And so I think that the OSBA is fortunate to have someone of her caliber willing to serve.
Any other comments or questions? Erica?
Yeah, I'm also really happy that we continue to have a representation for our district on that statewide leadership board. And I'm excited to see what Nancy can bring. They're starting their strategic plan work at that organization. And so I know that having done work on ours, it would be a great addition.
Yeah, Nancy was super instrumental in the crafting of our strategic plan, and I expect her to be very instrumental in the OSBA plan as well. And I would just add my voice to say thank you for being willing to serve at this level, and appreciate that we have the opportunity for Hillsboro to continue to be represented statewide. Anything you want to add, Nancy? You good?
I just want to say thank you for Director Lopez and all of your guidance and your leadership that you have given to both HSD and to OSBA over the years. It's been a lot. It is not enough to say thank you, but those are the words that I have right now. So I realize that these are big shoes, but we will try to fill them with a little bit of bling to add on.
Any other comments or questions? Rose, can you please call the roll?
Sheehan Kim,
Aye.
Erica Lopez,
Aye.
Patrick McGuire,
Aye.
Nancy Thomas,
Aye.
Monique Ward,
Opposed?
Yvette Pantoja,
Aye.
Mark Watson.
Aye. Motion carries. Our next action item is to do similar work for the Oregon School Boards Association Legislative Policy Committee. I've had the privilege to serve in that capacity for a number of years, and while I love doing that work and would happily continue, we have someone else on our board who's interested in learning a lot about the legislative process, and I'm excited to step aside. And I move that the Board of Directors nominate Yvette Pantoja for the OSBA Legislative Policy Committee position number 15.
Second.
Thank you, Pat. It was moved by me and seconded by Director McGuire that the Board of Directors nominate Yvette Pantoja for the OSBA Legislative Policy Commission position number 15. Is there any other discussion? You good? Yeah. Rose, can you please call the roll?
Sheehan Kim,
Aye.
Erica Lopez,
Aye.
Patrick McGuire,
Aye.
Nancy Thomas,
Aye.
Monique Ward,
Opposed?
Yvette Pantoja,
Aye.
Mark Watson.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. I'm going to jumble our order and we'll skip to number 5, intent to purchase. Jordan, if you're ready, would you be ready to go out of order here? And we'll come back to action item number 4 in a minute.
This one is our Microsoft yearly licensing agreement. And so we're doing this through our cooperative purchasing agreement with OETC. Able to answer any questions if there are, but this is our yearly agreement that we've done for the past few years.
Any questions for Jordan? Anybody like to make a motion?
I move that the Board of Directors acknowledge the notice of intent to purchase by use of cooperative purchasing agreement under the authority of the state of Oregon, ORS 279A.215, permissive cooperative procurement.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Thomas and seconded by Director Ward that the Board of Directors acknowledge the notice of intent to purchase by use of a cooperative purchasing agreement under the authority of the state of Oregon, ORS 279A.215, permissive cooperative procurements. Is there any further discussion? Rose, can you please call the roll?
Sheehan Kim,
Aye.
Erica Lopez,
Aye.
Patrick McGuire,
Aye.
Nancy Thomas,
Aye.
Monique Ward,
Aye.
Yvette Pantoja,
Aye.
Mark Watson.
Aye. Motion carries. Next action item would be item number 6, telematic GPS.
This is a new purchase for our transportation department that'll allow us to do some additional GPS tracking of our buses that will integrate directly with their routing system. In the future, we'd also be able to allow for potential parent app that would allow for parents to see where the bus is at for their drop off, especially in cases where there's weather interruptions or other things going on. They'd be able to see exactly where the bus is located. So they will be updating their software to a new system in this next year, and this one directly integrates with that. And so we're trying to get ahead of that and move forward with getting the GPS installed in the buses.
Does anybody have any questions for Jordan? Just give us one of those like big screens with a dot for every bus. Like, is that a thing we'll be able to have now?
That would be the connection that sort of the routers would see, and the dispatchers would be able to then see live connections of where the buses are located.
Just a reminder that board members love touring facilities, and transportation is one of the ones that was a big hit. Just saying.
I'll have to let Carol know you want to see a big screen.
I do have one quick question. Jordan, do we have any GPS systems in any of them? Is this the start of the process or the end of the process? These are not cheap, and we have a lot of us.
Yeah, this is the start of the process. I mean, there are some GPS tracking pieces. It's not nearly live tracking like this will be. But we get some route information when buses come back and connect to systems. But this would actually give live connection of where it's at.
For all buses?
Yes, the plan is to do it on all buses.
Got it. Thank you.
Somebody have a question on that? No? All right, would anybody like to make a motion?
I move that the Board of Directors acknowledge the notice of intent to purchase the telematic GPS and service from Sourcewell by use of a cooperative purchase agreement under the authority of the State of Oregon, ORS 279A.215, permissive cooperative procurements.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Ward and seconded by Director Thomas that the Board of Directors acknowledge the notice of intent to purchase of telematic GPS and service from Sourcewell by use of a cooperative purchasing agreement under the authority of the State of Oregon, ORS 279A.215, permissive cooperative procurements. Is there any further discussion? Rose, can you please call the roll?
Shan Kim,
Aye.
Erica Lopez,
Aye.
Patrick McGuire.
Aye.
Nancy Thomas,
Aye.
Monique Ward,
Aye.
Yvette Pantoja,
Aye.
Mark Watson.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, we will circle back to agenda item 4. Well, I will check first. Are you ready for this? We good? No, not ready? We are. Okay. So we appreciate that Director Lopez had an opportunity to get her voice heard on the CCAC. I'm going to break this into 2 parts. The student portion became clear. So I move that the Board of Directors appoint the following student candidates to 2-year positions: Macy Nierbergal, Giselle Rojas Sierra, Daisy Jacobs Nolasco, Jason Lloyd, Sarah Lacayo Lopez, Mindy Moradi.
Okay.
I just wanted to correct those are 1-year positions for the students.
Yeah, it says 2 years, and Travis and I discussed that, but I think they are
1
1
year.
year, right?
Yeah.
Some of them are seniors, but if you're a junior, would you serve for 2 years?
They're all seniors except one.
Well, they're just because, so
Still 1 year.
Travis and I had this quick discussion while we were working on it. So just because they're seniors, if a junior were nominated, would it be a 2-year position? I think we leave it at this, and then they resign their position at the end of the year. Right?
So it's still a 1-year position.
I don't think it is. I think it's so if a junior were, if a junior or a freshman applied and was appointed, I think it would, Travis and I, yeah, I think it is a 2-year position. Just if a senior applies, they just know they're done after the first year.
So that doesn't make sense. Wait, okay, so we allow seniors to apply and we allow them to fulfill one of X amount of years just because they're seniors. But it would make sense to go backwards or flip it. What I mean is, if you're a junior, freshman, whatever, then it's a one-year position, and then you apply for a second year. If you enjoy it, you come back, you say you want to do it again. Are you telling me it's that we've statutorily decided that it's a 2 or a multi-year position?
It has traditionally been declared a 2-year position, and most frequently seniors apply and then resign after their first year. Yes, I asked the same question a second ago. Should I amend this motion to be a 1 year? And the answer was no, because it is, if a freshman or a sophomore or junior applied, they would have the opportunity to serve for 2 years. Yeah.
So it is by law, by
Well,
our
not-
rule.
Yeah.
Rule.
Not law
It's
so much, but yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yes. Positions on the CC tend to be 2-year positions.
got it.
Yes. And oftentimes seniors apply and then they only serve 1 year. And we know that, and that's fine.
Question, so then does that mean that for the following year, those positions are open and then they're filled by the applications, or is it just vacant for another year?
No, I think we just, much like when in the previous years, we talked about this upstairs, that if somebody resigned mid, then we would just appoint their replacement. So yeah, we just appoint new people and
I just had it divided in my mind between
Yeah.
community members and the students.
I thought so
Two
too.
Separate things. not-
Yeah, that was sort of
not
my
together.
instinct as well. Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, I know we discussed it, but it wasn't connected.
Yeah, no, and the fact that they're all seniors means it is probably a 1-year appointment. And so I was going to make the motion that way, but I was informed that wasn't the best way to go. Has it been seconded yet? Oh, I think Erica did, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I said any further discussion. Okay. Did I read it a second time? I don't think I have. It has been moved by me and seconded by Director Lopez that the following students be appointed to 2-year positions. Macy Nair Bergal. Oh, I need another sheet. Giselle Rojas Sierras, Daisy Jacobs Nolasco, Jason Lloyd, Sarah Lacayo Lopez, Mindy Murati. Is there any further discussion? Rose, can you please call the roll?
Sheehan Kim,
Aye.
Erica Lopez,
Aye.
Patrick McGuire,
Aye.
Nancy Thomas,
Aye.
Monique Ward,
Aye.
Yvette Pantoja,
Aye.
Mark Watson.
Aye. Motion carries. Welcome aboard, students. We are glad you have chosen to serve with us in this capacity. On that front, we will get a little more work session-y than we tend to down here because there's going to be more work for us to do. After tabulating the votes, including Director Lopez, we have 4 clear appointees for the community positions. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people tied for the remaining 3. So, when I click on the link, I still see everybody listed. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So Rose has documented our previous responses. And I can tell you that, Natalie Larson, Michael Smith, Alili, Cardenas Verduzzo, and Andy Tronco have received the votes to put them onto the committee as appointments. The people, so this is where I guess maybe you need a pen or, so if you go back to your link, we're going to have to re-vote again. And this time you'll vote for 3 of the following 6.
The top 6 on your ballot. I moved.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I moved the top 6 are the people you're going to be voting 3 of.
Okay, so if you're able to re-access the link, vote for 3 of the top 6 people on that list. Does that make sense to everybody? Is everybody able to access the link? So it's, I'm gonna not get his last. Khalid, Joe, Shira, Philip, and Tia.
And Linda.
Oh, Linda. Okay, yes.
And Erica has her hand raised.
Yes, Erica.
If I can just get that link sent to me, please.
Oh, yeah. Can you resend the link to Erica? Is everybody else able to access the link and see the top 6? So starting with Annie Tronco and below, they're either appointed or do not have enough votes to be in the tie breaker.
Could you, just for my information, read off the people who are already being passed through to the next round?
That are already considered enough
They're already
folks to
going
be
to be
appointed.
included in the motion to appoint, yeah.
They will be, yeah. Natalie Larson, Michael Smith, Lily Cardenas Verduzzo, and Annie Tronco. So that's the next 4 on the list. Right? That's the next 4 on the list?
Listening to
Sorry.
his question, but it's, you should be voting for
3 of the
1,
top
2, 3,
6.
4, 5, 6. Yeah. Anyone, please do not vote from anyone from Annie down.
Right. From Annie and below on our current list,
Do not vote for any
they're
of them.
either considered having enough selected from board members or they've been eliminated based on their vote total. Is everybody ready to
No, I only have 3 responses so far.
oh yeah, I haven't even started.
I have 5 responses so far.
Yeah. Oh, that's me. All right.
You're one of them. You're the only one we're waiting for now.
Oh, come on. I had stuff to say.
Mark,
I'm
may I
just
make a
kidding, Mark.
statement while we're
Sure.
allowing you to do this vote? I want the public to know the conversation that we had upstairs was that we are extremely blessed and excited to have this quote unquote problem. It's not really a problem. What we have is an incredible amount of very talented parents and community members who wish to serve. We only have so many positions. This is already one of our largest committees. It will end up being a total of 20 individuals, 14 adults, and 6 students. So we just want to make it very clear to the community that this is really an important situation. This is an important community, and we're very pleased, thrilled to death, quite frankly, to have this quote unquote problem of having to choose very qualified individuals. And we thank everyone for wanting to serve.
Oh, wait, I may have just done it.
Did that give you enough time?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure I voted for all 1 people, but yeah. All right. We'll give Rose a minute to try to tabulate and see if it's clear. If not, I think, do we decide we'll advance, if there are 1 clear person, then we'll advance 1 and then try this again. It'll take Rose a minute this is what I mean by this is a little work session as opposed to regular session.
Okay. Thank you, Mark, for that last vote because it was not clear. We had a 6-way tie after
Oh.
that first vote.
Oh my.
All right. So, top vote getters will be Khalid, Joe, and Philip.
So all right.
Are we voting again?
No, I think we have our answer. Is that right?
Make sure we didn't miss something.
All right. I will attempt to compose a motion. I move that the board of directors appoint the following candidates to 2-year positions. Natalie Larson, Michael Smith, Lily Cardenas Verduzzo, Annie Tronco, Khalid Abuzela, Philip Rogers, and Joe Everton. Was that 7? I feel like I got everybody.
Did you say, I only wrote down 6? There was 7? 7.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
I feel like I said 7, right?
I think there were 7.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say it again when we do the reformulation, but somebody needs a second verse. Okay. It's been moved by me and seconded by Director Pantoja that the Board of Directors appoint the following candidates to 2-year positions: Natalie Larson, Michael Smith, Lily Cardenas Verduzzo, Annie Tronco, Khalid Abuzela, Philip Rogers, and Joe Everton. Is there any further discussion? Yes.
Yes, just briefly, for those who weren't watching during the work session, I advocated considering appointing all applicants because they're all so well qualified and thought they would all bring important perspectives. And I respect the wisdom of my colleagues who didn't think that was a reasonable thing to do because of the need to keep the committee at a certain size. But I just want to say we all really, I'm sure I speak for the whole board, appreciate those who have served on the committee and those who are interested in serving. And I told Travis when we talked, sometimes I'm a little bit sentimental, but this is just a little harder for me because I feel like when we're hiring someone to be a data administrator or a mechanic, there are clear skills and you can judge who's the best, who has the best background and skills for the position. But with the CCAC, we're not just hiring curriculum experts, we're hiring members of the community or inviting members of the community to be volunteers. And so I don't think there's any way in an hour of reviewing these that you can really have any sense of the depth and breadth of what these folks could bring, because they all are going to bring something unique in terms of their connection to the district. And so I really appreciate everyone for applying, and I regret that we weren't able to have all of you serve, but I think you're all going to do wonderful things for our district in the future and staying involved. So thank you, everyone.
Any other discussion? I can't speak for everyone, but yes, Patrick, you definitely speak for me. I am too grateful for the bountiful riches we have of so many qualified people willing to serve in volunteer capacities in our district. It's amazing. And we thank everybody for their interest in serving on this committee. And there'll probably be future opportunities as well. So I think we have discussed, people drop off the committee from time to time based on their personal life and things changing. So if we have vacancies, I think this board has discussed the possibility of not waiting until the cyclical calendar to fill those. But, those of you who applied, if a vacancy opens up, expect to be contacted. Rose, can you please call the roll?
Sheehan Kim,
Aye.
Erica Lopez,
Aye.
Patrick McGuire,
Abstain.
Nancy Thomas,
Aye.
Monique Ward,
Aye.
Yvette Pantoja,
Aye.
Mark Watson.
Aye. Motion carries. That concludes our action item portion of the evening. And now we are to HCU HEA time. You guys are welcome to decide who would like to go first.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a last minute substitute for our president tonight. She is sick, and so I've known since about 4 o'clock that I would be here tonight. So I apologize for however this goes. Good evening, school board, Chair Watson, Superintendent Ryman, and cabinet members. My name is Carla Brokaw. For the past 8 years, I've proudly served Hillsboro School District as a educational assistant at Century High School as a school to career assistant. This year, I'm honored to also serve as president of, I am treasurer of Hillsboro Classified United and the part-time release officer. So as you can see, Bethany and I are working pretty well together on this part-time thing. Here in Hillsboro, we have some of the most dedicated, experienced, and creative classified staff in the state. Our classified staff work hard every day, not just keeping our systems running and our students' needs met, but also actively looking for ways to innovate, empower, and improve. Not to toot my own horn, but myself and Laura Wilson, the wellness instructor at Century, applied for a grant through the Hillsboro Schools Foundation last year to make improvements to our courtyard. Last year, hundreds of students helped clean weeds, build raised beds, spread mulch, and plant flowers and vegetables in this space. This fall, we harvested tomatoes and potatoes, and there are pumpkins waiting to be picked. The art department also painted a beautiful piece that everyone had the opportunity to add wildflowers to during our Jag Fest last spring. I would encourage all of you to come take a look at the South Courtyard at Century, where we hope to use this space for years to supplement our wellness room, as well as any classes that want to go play in the dirt. We put our heart into the work we do and the students we serve. Last year, the school district engaged in a collaborative planning process that culminated in our new strategic plan. One of the pillars of this plan is a commitment to exceptional staff. Workers that reflect the diversity in our community, have a voice in their workplace to share their experience and knowledge, and have access to training and career pathways for future growth. We are excited to see this commitment to our staff because we know that any investment in our workers is also an investment in our students and in our broader community. We look forward to partnering with you in this process as we create new ways to encourage growth and retention amongst our classified staff. As an example of this partnership and investment, I'd like to highlight a recent collaborative effort between HSD and HCU. After several weeks of bargaining, we reached an agreement to raise the starting salary for custodians on the lowest 3 steps of our wage scale. Under the terms of this agreement, custodians who have worked in their roles for more than 5 years were not given salary increases, but instead they received a token one-time payment of $700. While the work of our custodial staff is impossible to quantify, especially for those who have remained committed through a global pandemic, we are grateful for this acknowledgement of our incredible custodial staff. As we approach National Custodian Appreciation Day on October 2nd, please take time to personally thank one of our hardworking custodians, like Jose right here in this building, who is always so friendly and ready. As I wrap up tonight, I want to offer a word of encouragement to our board and cabinet members. The culture of any organization is set by its leaders. For Hillsboro School District, that is each of you in this room tonight. So I encourage you on behalf of our workers to continue to model and build a culture of value and investment in our classified staff. Classified staff are proud to be HSD, and we need to know that our leaders are proud to have us here too. Thank you for your time.
Welcome back and good evening, Chair Watson, Vice Chair Pantoja, fellow board members, Superintendent Ryman, and administrative leaders. My name is Mary Kay Babcock. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Hillsboro Education Association president. I'm a proud music educator going on 27 years. 23 of those years are right here in Hillsboro. This past summer offered a great opportunity to support our fellow educators in Florida. HEA had 6 members attend our National Education Association Representative Assembly in Orlando. In the words of our national president, our struggle for freedom will never rest. We attended to support our Florida colleagues, their students, and their communities whose freedom is being challenged through their legislative system by banning books, limiting speech, and denying history. We rallied with 7,000 plus educators with the theme of Teach the Truth, along with freedom to teach, freedom to learn, and freedom to love. It filled my cup and inspired my heart to join in solidarity in a national rally with my Florida colleagues. HEA finished the last school year with 96.1% membership. On August 22nd, HEA hosted our annual new hire breakfast, followed by our HEA orientation for 106 new hires. We are pleased to announce that a total of 98 new hires are now members of our union. We are thrilled to welcome the class of 23-24 as our newest HEA members. It was fantastic attending the opening of our newest building, Tamarack Elementary School. Thank you to all of the school board members and those that served on the bond and the building committees that supported the creation of such an innovative and aesthetically pleasing space for our educators to instruct and our students to learn. Bravo. It was wonderful coming together at the all-staff kickoff. We appreciated the spirit of togetherness. We understand that this is the first time that this has happened since 2016, and we learned a lot by working together to problem solve for this event in the future to ensure that the HEA address is heard by all licensed staff without interruption. We are appreciative that the HEA address was made available to all licensed staff during yesterday's Staff Development Day via recorded video message, as it is our members and our potential members' right to hear from their union president. As president, I'm working hard to visit all our building sites and observe educators' needs by assisting them in their classrooms. This is giving me firsthand insight of what challenges our educators and students are facing on a daily basis. Not to mention, it's also great to see everyone in action. We truly have talented educators and incredible support staff to support our students and their needs. I would like to invite all of you to take a morning or an afternoon to do the same, or better yet, let's coordinate some times together to do that work together. We're seeing less classroom educators, resulting in larger class sizes this school year. We hope that we can continue to implement the elementary and secondary schools emergency relief funding known as ESSER funding to address this issue. It is vital that we continue to address the learning loss our students experienced during the pandemic and prioritize the best working conditions for our educators, which are our students' learning conditions for our students. HEA is ready to meet collaboratively with Human Resources this Friday to review our class sizes and address the need for additional full-time employment where it is most needed. HEA has put together our bargaining team roster, and we are planning to send a survey this fall to collect our members' input on what issues we want to include in our bargaining for our upcoming contract negotiations. Only members will have the privilege to provide this information to our bargaining team. We're looking forward to attending the superintendent listening sessions. As I continue year 2 as HEA president, it is important to me that our union members work in solidarity with one another to protect our working conditions in order to better serve all of our students. To ensure that we're all on the same page regarding our contract language, it is our hope that we can host another Contract 101 with the 22 new administrators, as well as any administrators that are 3 years or less in their important leadership role. Lastly, I would like to say Happy Latin Heritage Month. I am so proud of my multiracial heritage, which includes Hispanic roots, and I'm so proud that our state association has so much to offer with our Eye on Equity resources to support our educators and students to learn more about their heritage and celebrate their culture with pride. Here's to a great school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Board discussion time, and we begin with the students. You guys can figure out who would like to go first, second, third. Do you have anything you would like to add tonight? Nobody? Oh,
I'm always going first.
And now that we have a decision.
hey.
Donna?
Oh, okay.
Can I add to anything we talked about today, or does it just have to be from this session?
Sorry?
Okay, I thought it was really nice to hear about the summer programs, because usually we just hear summer school and that's kind of the end of it. I thought it was I really liked hearing about how the percentages increased a lot from students off track to on track. It's really nice knowing what actually happens in the summer, because summer school always has like a negative connotation around it, but the outcomes are shown positive. So I'm really glad I got to hear about that today, and that's all I have to add for tonight.
Thank you.
I think it's pretty cool that we have access to this microphone. we were kind of messing with it earlier because we were like pushing it towards each other. But I just want to appreciate the time that was put into this meeting, especially because I got to experience both groups after a long time of not being here. I also agree with Eliana completely over the off track and on track within summer school. I really feel like that is the general group within the summer school program is underrepresented. Not only because there's this, like she said, a connotation around it where you're not the smartest if you're in it. I completely disagree with that. I just believe that it just wasn't the right time for you. I completely am proud of the HSC system with its evenly distributed equity, kind of the right amount of learning for everyone's needs. I also, I think that's it. Yeah.
I like to say that I am very happy about the new student representatives. I've personally, for Glencoe at least, the people nominated or selected, I've grew up with them. I'm friends with a lot of them, and it just obviously we were competitors during when we were all trying to go for the student representative position, and just seeing them wanting to push and help make Hillsboro a better place, or HSD a better place. It gives me a positive hope for the student representatives that we just selected. Also, I'd like to thank Brooke Nova. She gave me a scholarship opportunity last meeting, which I got nominated to be a finalist in. I have a meeting tomorrow with the person in charge with the scholarship opportunity, and I'm really excited. So thank you, Brooke.
Sure. I had a question about this. I think it's like the CCA.
Community Curriculum Advisory Committee. We call it CCAC.
Whatever you just said. I'm talking. I was wondering how us student representatives are supposed to mentor them when we haven't even been mentored yet. I believe that we can't walk in the step our foot into an unknown land, especially because we have no experience in it, and we want to maintain our humility, especially within it. I also recall you guys stating about doing better over mentorship, and I believe that with us as student representatives, we can really assist you guys in that, because I believe being a mentor isn't just a one-way system. It's two ways. The student must respect and assist in it, and they also have to be willing to learn. But yeah, I'm just wondering how we will mentor without knowing how to mentor.
Next up is superintendent's time. He said he might mention something about that.
Yeah, that's a good question. There isn't an expectation that you all mentor the students who are repping in the CCAC. You all will get mentorship from board members, but there's not an expectation that students from the board mentor students from the CCAC. Brooke and her team will help those students participate in that committee. My time. Thanks to Mark and Yvette and Rose for prepping tonight and the agenda and everything that went into it. Thanks to our team for all the presentations. Really good meeting tonight. Issue of class size came up a couple of times. I just want to remind everybody that during the pandemic, we were able to staff lower than our ratios, and what we're feeling is coming back to those ratios that we have pre-pandemic, and that feels like bigger class sizes, which it is in some cases. And a reminder also that if our class size ratio goal is set at 26, sometimes that means 28 in one class and 24 in another class, and 24 feels small and 28 feels too big. And so while we set ratios, we can't always accomplish those in every classroom. So just a reminder, and we are in an ongoing process of reviewing where it is that we have big classes and figuring out what to do about that. So, wanted to say that an early indicator of a great school year is that we have huge participation in athletics and activities right now. You'll be hearing more about that when we look at our strategic plan goals, of which one is increased participation and diversity of participation in athletics and activities. Shout out to staff and leaders in our schools who took full advantage of September 25th as a professional development day. We had professional development going on for educational equity, professional learning communities. We had level alikes all getting together in a gym at a school so that teachers at different grade levels could meet with each other across schools within feeders and share their teaching strategies and planning and looking at data. We had literacy work going on for the science of reading. We had CTE advisory panels meeting with CTE teachers to help them improve their CTE programs. And we had a wide variety of professional learning available for classified staff in our school district as well. So at every level, we took full advantage of Monday. Wanted to give a shout out to Director Lopez and Chair Watson for your former service, and now Directors Thomas and Pantoja for your service at the OSBA level. I agree that it's important that HSD represent in leadership opportunities in the state of Oregon, because in a variety of different areas, we are a leader as a school district. 5 of those areas are pre-K, bilingual education, inclusive practices, our work in equity, and our work in career pathways. And when you all represent, whether it's legislative policy or whether it's at the OSBA board level, you're representing the finest practice in the state, in my opinion, that's out there. So thank you for your representation and the extra time that you put in beyond board service here in our community. So thank you.
Board of Directors time. We'll start online. Director Lopez, do you have anything to add tonight?
Yeah, I just wanted to share with you all. This was a very busy weekend. I also had the OSBA retreat that I attended this past weekend. As I mentioned, they are going through a strategic planning process. And I wanted to share with you all that recently Director McGuire and Director Ward worked on our audience participation document. And that was something that actually came up at the retreat from many from other boards wanting as a resource. I was able to share ours. As Travis mentioned, we are an example and a leader in a lot of ways. And so these are the small ways in which it shows up. And they also wanted a copy of it in Spanish. So I really it's always such a great sense of pride for me to be able to showcase our district and the good work that we do here. And also wanted to share 2 things from that meeting. One, that we have our legislative roadshow, which is happening October 3rd. And I shared with all of you board members to please RSVP if you plan on attending. And also to our student reps, I would like to have them also attend and see that space and what we do when it comes to legislative advocacy. I think it would be great to bring our student reps as well. And then the other thing is that we also have our OSBA conference in November, and that is happening in Portland. And again, advocating for our students if they're available to join us. And I'm also trying to work before I leave OSBA and a way for other student reps in other districts to have a way to connect to each other. I think they're just like we do as board members, learn best practices of what's happening in other boards, that part of the mentorship or opportunities for our student reps is for them to develop relationships with other student reps across the state and see what similarities there might be or issues that are happening in other areas of our state. So just wanted to share what has been happening at that level statewide. And thank you again for stepping up, Director Thomas and Director Pantoja, in these roles. I think I feel so much better that we will continue to have Hillsboro be at the table in these conversations.
Director Kim, anything to add tonight?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. I'm so sorry I missed last couple weeks ago's meeting. I know there's always a lot of excitement around, being back in school and everything. So I was really bummed to miss out, but happy to be here tonight. Thank you, everyone who gave presentations, and really excited to see the number of applicants that came forward for the CCAC. And I just want to encourage folks who weren't selected tonight to continue to kind of stay tuned to what's going on in the district, because there will be other opportunities to serve. And even if there are vacancies heading into the year, there there will always be a place to serve. And so just continuing to kind of keep your eyes on what's available at the district. We always appreciate the community input. So thank you. Huge congrats and thank you to Erica and Mark for your guys' just years of service on the OSBA level and representing Hillsboro. And also thank you to Nancy and Yvette for stepping into a really important space. Last month, I was able to attend the Tamarack celebration day for the grand opening of the school. And it was such a beautiful facility. I was able to go with my family. And it was just incredible to see the energy in the room. The folks who came out, I was really pleasantly surprised at the number of folks who actually came out from the community. And so just wanted to say congratulations to everyone who's worked on that. And, you know, it's exciting for South Hillsboro and it's exciting for this community. So just want to say huge congrats there. And I think I will leave it at that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And here, Director Warren, anything to add tonight?
We'll come back to you.
Come back to you, sure.
Please.
Director Thomas, anything to add tonight?
I do briefly. First of all, looking forward to serving OSBA in a leadership role and hoping to continue the legacy of strong HSD leadership and representation. So thank you to Erica and to Mark. Thank you, Erica and Mark and Maureen Wolf also for believing that I can make a difference and that we can continue this legacy. So that means a lot to me. So thank you. Second thing is, although I missed the awesome and incredible Tamarack opening, I will say that I was at the all-staff kickoff event and it was incredible. I can't even say that without getting excited because it was phenomenal. The energy in the room, the teachers everybody was excited and they did things up on stage and it was incredible. And I had a good time. I needed that, to be very honest with you, just to be excited again. And to see teachers, I was able to walk around the gymnasium and literally just yell and shout, thank you for your service. Thank you for all that you do. And so it really meant a lot to do that. Travis, well done. I know you do this. And it was awesome. And I understand that we haven't been able to do that for obvious reasons, but I hope we get to do it again because that was just an absolute blast. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Third thing is I offhandedly had the opportunity to participate in what they call a senior sunrise. Didn't know about that. I learned probably because I now have a senior. And I was like, what is this? And I thought, okay, I don't know. I need to be here. And I thought, now what time do I have to get up? And they could go out. The seniors are invited to go to the football field for sunrise, literally. And they were there and it was really a lot of fun. I got to help hand pass out donuts and it was very interesting. And I just want you to know that that's part of the reason that makes this so meaningful. Because you get to do things like that and you get to see the young people in a different way and you can just see them contemplating life. You could see them looking at each other. You could see them talking about what they were going to do the next day. Some of them were talking about graduation, but you could see them going, oh my God, this is the last time I'm going to do that. You could see it in their eyes. And so thank you for having special things like that. I hope to be reporting on numerous senior things. I only have one child and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. And I think things are awesome. So thank you for that. I just wanted to let you know. And the other thing I wanted to say, at that senior sunrise, I was able to take photos with Yvette Alonso Garcia. And she is a prior student rep. And I got a chance to take photos with her. She will be graduating also with my son from Liberty. And it just made it that much more special. So thank you.
Dr. McGuire, anything to add tonight?
Yes, it's a pleasure to be together. It's nice we can feel the beginning of autumn with the rain and the leaves. And there's a line from Anne of Green Gables that I'm so glad to live in a world where there are Octobers. And as we see school getting going and athletics and activities getting going. I think of that in the autumn. Briefly, I'll just say that the concerned parent who shared her experiences with us was so helpful. And she said, when teachers are supported, children reap the rewards. And as long as I'm on the board, that's my guiding force as well. So I appreciate that our HEA president and her team will be working with the district to share what teachers are experiencing on the ground. And that's so wonderful that you're going to be doing that. So I'm very thankful for all of our staff in our schools, and just keep up the great work, everyone.
Director Ward, are you ready?
Yep.
All right.
Yes. So, again, I want to thank the audience members as well for being here this evening, for the staff, and again, always for your responsiveness to sometimes many, many emails. I appreciate the student reps and sharing your thoughtful comments. And looking forward to the next time. Thank you.
Angela, anything to add tonight?
Yeah. One, thank you for all of your work and all the presentations that you guys do. It's really knowledgeable, at least for me. I know for them too, especially coming in new. So just want to say thank you. And to Mark and Erica for being on the OSBA and taking on that leadership. And I'm excited to take that role and, learn as much as I can about legislative work. For that, something I'm very interested in. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, a lot of just seconding what other people said. The Tamarack opening was amazing. The all-staff kickoff, can't say anything better than what's already been said. I guess, is the amount of work to make that happen so insurmountable that you can't do it every year? So maybe not every year, but not every 6, right? Like maybe sooner than that. Olympic schedule every 4 years? All right, so it's got to be an incredible lift to make that happen. So thank you to everybody who made that happen. It was a great event to be a part of. Our first regular session, first meeting in the boardroom of the year. So thank you all for being here. And thank you to my colleagues for entrusting Yvette and I in these roles for another year. I don't take that trust lightly, and I hope to do you proud in this role. So thanks to everybody for coming out. And we are adjourned.